Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Demetrio Gonzalez-Hoy, and I'm the president of the Board of Education. I would like to welcome you to the board meeting tonight. To access translation, please click on the globe icon below. Para acceder traducción, pueden apretar el botón del globo. We are heading into our closed session for tonight. Before we do, we are here to listen to any public comment there might be about our closed session items. Our closed session items that we'll be discussing are conference with legal counsel and conference with labor negotiators. Do we have any public comment?
There's no public comment.
Great. Okay, everybody, we are now moving to our closed session. Thank you so much and see you at 6:30. Good evening, everybody. If we could please quiet down as much as we can. Thank you. My name is Demetrio Gonzalez-Hoy. I'm the president of the board. I would like to welcome all of you to our Board of Education meeting for the West Contra Costa Unified School District. We're coming back from closed session. After opening procedures, the public will have an opportunity to make public comment. To access translation, please click on the globe icon below on this screen, or here at the Jean, you can go to the corner of the room. We have someone waving in the corner to access translation. Para acceder a traducción, pueden apretar el botón del globo, o si están en the Jean, pueden ir a la esquina del gimnasio. When we get to public comment, there will be public opportunities on agenda and non-agenda items in person through Zoom and by telephone. Public comment will usually last 1 hour. As of tonight, we are extending it to 2 hours to allow for larger public comment. The time allotted for each speaker is 2 minutes. If you are attending the meeting in person, you will need to submit a request to address the board form to indicate your desire to speak to an agenda item or non-agenda item. If participating via Zoom, you will need to raise your hand by clicking on the appropriate icon in the Zoom app or by pressing *9 if accessing the meeting by phone. No yielding of time or substitution of speakers is permitted. Due to the Brown Act, board members cannot discuss items that are not on the agenda and do not usually respond to items presented in public comment. Now let's move to opening procedures. If everybody could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now for our land acknowledgement. We recognize that we are presently on the lands of the Chochenyo, Muwekma, Karkin, Ohlone peoples, and acknowledge them as the first inhabitants of the land we currently occupy. Dr. Hurst, excuse me. Before we do roll call, we do have two new members of the board that I would like Dr. Hurst to please introduce.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We are so excited to have our two new student trustees. We first want to introduce Trustee Barron. She's a senior at Richmond High School. She's still deciding her college that she would like to attend, but she does say that she wants to go to college. She plans to study law, and she wants to become an immigration attorney. Woo! And she decided to be a board trustee because it's really important for her to listen to the student voice. She really wants to advocate for students, and she said she grew up with her parents instilling this in her. So thank you for joining us, Trustee Barone. And then we also like to introduce Trustee Santos, and she is a senior at Middle College. She is still deciding what university to go to, but she also has a desire to attend college, study English, and also go into law, be a lawyer. She's also president of her class. Let's give her a round of applause. And then finally, she also wants to advocate for students. Student voice is extremely important for her, and she wants to be involved in the process. She wants to learn how things are decided, so she wanted to be a board trustee for this experience. And we're just so excited to have both of our student trustees. Thank you for being here.
On behalf of the board, Trustee Barron and Trustee Santos, we want to welcome you. If approved tonight, your mentor will be Trustee Christian. So please feel free to ask him any questions you might have, because sometimes we deal with a lot of issues that you might not know about. So please use us as a resource. Sometimes we don't know about stuff. Please use us as a resource and welcome. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna move now to report and ratification from closed session. Dr. Hurst, do we have anything to report from closed session?
No, sir, nothing to report.
Thank you. And our parliamentarian who's sitting to my right reminded me that I skipped roll call. So if you could please do a roll call, sir.
Absolutely. President Gonzalez-Hoy,
Present.
Trustee Clerk Smith-Folds,
Good evening, everyone present.
Trustee Reckler,
Good evening, I'm present.
Trustee Phillips. Present. Trustee Christian,
Good evening, present.
Trustee Barone,
Present.
Trustee Santos,
Good evening, present.
all present and accounted for, sir.
Thank you so much. Now, sir, do we have anything to report from closed session?
Nothing to report.
Wonderful. Moving forward. Okay, everybody, now we're gonna move to public comment. As a reminder for tonight, I am extending public comment to 2 hours with support of our board. So we'll be able to hear from more of you. We are starting with people in the room. And you have to turn in a sheet, an orange sheet, which you can get an access to in the right-hand side, my right-hand side of the room. But you have to fill that out first. And again, everybody gets 2 minutes. If you go past the 2 minutes, I will respectfully ask you to finish your thought because we will have a lot of people to hear from. Thank you for being here. Okay, let's move to public comment. Let's start with the room. Thank you.
Our first public comment is Nora Ponce.
Good evening, board members. My name is Nora Ponce. I am the mother of a child at Washington Elementary School, and I'm here to speak about the DLI program, a program that had made a promise as of last year to my child to go ahead and go through grade 12 on a pathway that went Washington, Korematsu, El Cerrito High School. We have been hearing rumors and constantly ask about concrete answers to what would be happening to the program, only to be given vague answers and be told that none of the rumors were true. Then to have a DLA pathway meeting and essentially have more of the same, a lot of data, statistics with absolutely no answers. About 20 working days later, we get a little blurb about 2 sentences that once again is vague and completely disingenuous, that basically says you are focusing your priorities on something else, which does not go along with the promise you made my child as of last year. That is the reason why I'm here. I know what the linguistics as far as statistics and studies show and how our children actually excel at a different level and gain gainful employment at a higher level because of that second language, how they process critical thinking skills differently. You made my child a promise. I want an answer. I want an answer specifically that goes to pathways. You did not allow for any community engagement. any community input. You did not give us any response as to why the DLI program wasn't working at El Cerrito High, and yet you offered absolutely no other options either. My child was made a promise. You need to go ahead and come through in a viable way with responses that actually yield results with that promise. I am absolutely incensed. And not only that, I hope you know and understand all of these teachers here, you are not going to get anybody coming into this community with all of these teachers striking because they deserve a fair wage.
Our next public comment is Lucas Zavala.
Hi, my name is Lucas Zavala Cruces, and I go to the school Washington Elementary. I am a bilingual quid, so that means I can talk Spanish and English. I would like to have English and Spanish classes when I'm in Korematsu and when in Cerrito High School. Hola, mi nombre es Lucas Zavala Cruces. Voy a programa DLI, pues eso significa que puedo hablar inglés y español.
Our next public comment is Erika Cruces.
Hola, muy buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Erika Cruces. Primero, muchas gracias. Antes que nada, quiero agradecer porque en la escuela estuvimos luchando para que tuviéramos un director bilingüe, lo cual ahorita tenemos, así que muchas gracias por el esfuerzo que tenemos. El señor Juan Carlos Alvarado. Por segundo, no muy grato, vengo de nuevo ante ustedes, miembros de la mesa directiva, porque tengo ya más de 10 años hablando directamente con ustedes para promover y mejorar a nuestra comunidad bilingüe. Casi todos los años venimos para pedir a que el programa de GLI sea cada vez más fuerte, eficaz, para que nuestros hijos tengan una educación de calidad. Si mal no recuerdo, es un programa interno de la escuela que se hizo un compromiso hace más de 18 años. Ya tenemos con nosotros estudiantes que terminaron su universidad y ahora ya tienen mejores trabajos educacionales porque ya son bilingües. Aproximadamente 6 años el distrito de West Contra Costa y la mesa directiva aprobaron un acuerdo para crecer el programa de GLI. Tanto que nuestra escuela Washington para el siguiente año será 100% GLI. Ahora me dicen que quieren cerrar el programa allá en el Cerrito High, donde mi hija asiste, donde pudiera asistir también mi hijo Lucas, que acaba de hablar que quiere el programa. Este año, de hecho, vinimos frente a ustedes para pedirles el fortalecimiento del programa y ustedes mencionaron que sí, que iban y que necesitaban una persona, pero no dijeron que nos iban a cerrar el programa. Nunca se mencionó que ustedes querían cerrar el programa, porque vamos a retroceder cuando ahora queremos más fortalecimiento para nuestros estudiantes. Pero primero, queremos instalaciones. Muchas gracias. Sé que hay tanto que decir, pero gracias. Necesitamos.
And sorry to interrupt for our translation. Our board does have headphones. So if next time we want to translate as the speaker
Right.
goes, it's fine.
But we just wanted to make sure that also the people present can hear the translation in English.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to say thank you to the people who was part of the election for the principal at Washington. We really wanted a principal that was bilingual. He is here, he's ready to work with the parents and students and with all the teachers in our community. So thank you for that, Mr. Carlos Alvarado. Second of all, this is not very, I'm not very happy to bring this item once again to the board because I have been advocating for more than 10 years for the DLI program. This program needs to grow as a bilingual community. And first of all, it was planned for the program to exist in Washington, continue in Korematsu, and then El Cerrito High. Almost every year we come here to ask that the DLI program gets stronger and more efficient for our children so they can have a quality education. If I well remember, this is not a program from the school. This was a commitment that was done to these families more than 18 years ago. So our students could have the DLI classes from preschool all the way to high school. In fact, we already have students who have graduated, have gone to college, and then now they are bilingual. Approximately 6 years ago, the district and the board, they approved this agreement to be able to grow the DLI program even further. Now they're telling us that they want to close the program at the DLI program in El Cerrito High, where my daughter assists and continues into the program. Now, this would mean that my son, the one that just spoke, he won't be able to speak. Dr. Hurst mentioned that they don't have teachers, but that he never mentioned that they were going to take away.
Our next public comment is Allison Natchman.
Good evening. I'm a parent of a student in the 6th grade at Washington Elementary School in the Spanish Dual Immersion Program. At the December 8th Dual Advisory Committee meeting, families were reassured that the district was committed to the growth of the Spanish Dual Immersion Program through 12th grade. Now, 20 days later, due to reported staffing issues and space capacity, we are told this is no longer the case. What efforts have even been made to hire a dual immersion teacher at the high school? The K-8 is stronger now than it ever has been. Now is the time to continue to strengthen the program at higher levels, not end it after 8th grade. How can you take this opportunity away from these children and families who have committed to this program? My son will attend Korematsu next year and wants nothing more than to go to El Cerrito High, where his brother is flourishing and taking advantage of the many opportunities available. If he cannot attend El Cerrito High School, it will be our family's choice, because we can, to pull him out of the district. Not everybody can do that or has that option. We do not feel confident that he would be allowed to transfer based on the classes only available, as was said today in the email communication. I currently know families who are at Kennedy who have been waiting and trying to get to transfer and have been denied. There is little remaining credibility for the administration, who would make a decision without the input of the community. And in my opinion, it's a great lack of foresight. Why end the program in 2025 when there could be 3 years to find a teacher to continue this program? I will formally request documentation of the efforts being made to find staffing, and would like to better understand the space capacity issues and why this is happening all of a sudden. The district has shown disrespect for our families.
Our next public comment is Camille Celucci. Camille Celucci.
Hi, my name is Camille Celucci, and first, I too want to thank Dr. Hurst and the entire community that helped make it possible for us to have Mr. Alvarado as our principal. I can't tell you what a difference our school is thriving, and we can see what good leadership and bilingualism does for our community. At the same time, I'm here to absolutely support continuing the pathway for our children to El Cerrito High School. Many parents and families have invested for years under the promise that our DLI kids will be going to El Cerrito High School. My 13-year-old Maggie is in 7th grade at Korematsu. She will be one of the first that's cut off from that pathway. Her entire community is at Korematsu. If you know my kid, she has an incredible kindness, but also an incredible challenge at adjusting to new situations. We specifically built this community, and it is a very close community for her to be able to thrive. If this pathway is cut off, it will be criminal for her because she will go way down. We need you to put this on the agenda for February 1st. We will be back with more parents and more conversation about this issue. We're not going to let it just stop here. And obviously, part of the reason that you have trouble finding teachers is because all of these amazing teachers are here tonight to strike and get better pay. And we need to find more. We need to find better solutions like the incredible positive solution we came to with Mr. Alvarado. It's possible for us to find solutions if we work together with absolute full transparency and honesty. I appreciate your time and your attention. Thank you so much. And thank you, teachers.
Can we please have the next 5 people stand at the podium to speed things up a little bit? Becca Guerrero, Scarlett Guerrero Mardel, Andrea Zavala, Felix Reyes, and Eduardo Martinez.
Hello, everybody. My name is Becca Guerrero. I'm a mother of 2 children, both within the DLI program, one at Korematsu Middle School and the other at Washington Elementary. I'm here because it's been about 5 months that I've been in discourse and disagreement with the district, trying to figure out what is unfolding. And I've been receiving nothing but being ignored and not receiving any correspondence. In terms of the DLI analysis meeting that occurred on October 8th, that many folks have already mentioned, there was a commitment and a promise that the DLI program would persist and continue. At the time, the district transfer posted a statement mentioning that there will not be a cut or a pause to the program. I continue to reach out for emails and further information, and that happened about a few hours ago, that the district then sent out a long-winded, quote unquote, vague explanation, again, with 2 simple statements. It was mentioned in this email that there has been a struggle finding teachers since 2009. And this has been about 4 years now, excuse me, interpreter, since 2019. It has been a struggle for 4 years. And as the community has said, we have not been asked to be involved. We have not had our opinions or feedback heard. It's been a struggle. And now to come to the result of shutting down without asking for the community support. Again, this lack of communication has been ridiculous. And again, we did not receive anything until last week, which is unacceptable. I am here to represent the DLI program because my children are not in agreement with what has been going on. Now they might be forced to be transferred to a different district. It is difficult to trust the board and the district. And I would like this issue to be placed on the agenda.
Hi, my name is Scarlett. I'm a 7th grader at Korematsu, and that was my mom. I was promised that we would go from Washington all the way to El Cerrito, and now I'm hearing that apparently we can't do that because the principal there is shutting it down. And for my friends, I realized that since we'll all be leaving, we're all going to be splitting up, going into different high schools or middle schools to find new friends for the high school. And this will be the second time for me for making new friends and another whole different social experience. And it's going to be hard for a lot of us to be at a different district or at a different school. That is it.
Good afternoon. Y buenas tardes. My name is Andrea Zavala Cruces, and I'm 16 years old. And I'm a junior at ECHS. I live around 5 blocks away from here, and at this point, I've lost count of how many times I've had to been up here talking to you all. I'm honestly embarrassed, and particularly, I feel like y'all should be too. Yet again, I'm here advocating for the dual immersion program. I've been attending schools in the West Contra Costa Unified School District my whole life. I started at Riverside, but once my mom heard about the dual immersion program, I got transferred immediately. From Washington, I went to Costa Middle School, and now I'm a junior at ECHS. Bleed green. Because of the dual immersion program, I've been able to keep my first language, which I feel proud of every time I walk into my school. I'm the first daughter, I'm the first niece, I'm the first granddaughter, I'm the first great-granddaughter. I am the role model of my brother, my little cousins. So my question is, how are they going to follow my footsteps and keep their first language when their opportunities that my cousins think that they were going to have are going to be taken away from them now? Taking away programs like the dual immersion program should never even be a consideration. Instead, they should be reinforced, supported, and put as a priority. At ECHS, although I am technically enrolled in a DLI program, I've yet to take any DLI course. We don't have a DLI teacher. Why isn't the district working on getting appropriate teachers for us? We students have this one high school experience, and compared to other school districts, we're not receiving the support we deserve. My education is my right. An enriched education should not be a privilege. And I believe you all have the resources to give us the education that we need. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go to our next wonderful speaker, we did get a couple complaints saying that we were not allowing people to come in. I did want to mention, we do have a capacity limit, which we have exceeded. So every one person that leaves, we're allowing one person to come in. Okay, so I just want to clarify, and that is for our safety measures around COVID so that we're able to keep track. So just so everybody knows. Thank you. You can start. Thank you.
My name is Felix. I am in the 6th grade at Washington Elementary School. I'm in the Spanish program, and I'm the president of the student council. Find a teacher for the high school and stick to the plan. Don't give up. The dual immersion should continue to high school and have it grow. Don't give up on the kids.
Can we please have the following people come to the podium? Eduardo Martinez, Pedro Agredano, Zalon Harrison, Genesis Green, and Josh Anijas.
Hello, Eduardo Martinez, retired elementary school teacher, Downer Elementary, Sheldon Elementary. As a teacher, I realized that commitment gets the job done, but commitment doesn't pay the bills. I know that And you should know too, that teaching is not a job that starts in the morning and ends when the bell rings. Teaching is a 24/7 hour job. We used to joke that people talk about the school to prison pipeline. We used to joke that we should call the schools prisons so that the teachers could get paid what the guards get paid. I think that joke shows how we have our priorities mixed around. If teachers got paid what the guards got paid, we wouldn't need the prisons. This feels like community. And community schools is the way that we should go, because we need wraparound services, not only for the students, but for the parents, for the community, for the teachers, for all of us. Community schools would make your job a lot easier. And as leaders, your job is to make sure that we have the money to get the job done. Instead of trying to figure out how you're going to parse the crumbs, we need to work for the entire cake. We need to be able to do the job, and to do the job, we need money, and we need you to.
Good evening, President and Board. I'm a tradesman person. I work for the HVAC for the West Contra Costa Unified School District. I'm here to speak up for all the trades. You'll see me several times throughout the meetings. This time I'm going to concentrate on HVAC. We're coming up here because we believe that from the director up has failed us to bring up to you the need to staff more people in each department. It is only 3 HVAC techs for the entire district. We can't even keep up with repairs. We should be able to have preventative maintenance on the machines so they don't break down as fast. You have a full room of parents, teachers, and students that will tell you that a cold room during winter and a hot room during summer is no place to learn. We need you to please staff so that we can keep all those units working and everything as it should. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Board. This evening, I come to you guys with a heavy heart. I came to you guys several times before to address the support that our youth need at the school sites regarding the treatment and being called the N-word. And now it's come to a point where it's swelled up and now it's spilled over, and our community is really in an uproar. We want to know what the district is going to do. What I need you guys to understand that in the process of this, all you guys have children. All you guys have raised children, and those of you that don't, you have been in a situation where you have been made to feel uncomfortable going to school. We're done allowing our children to feel uncomfortable going to school. We're demanding that this board do something and get some support for our children at these school sites and address the treatment and the names that they're being called. Tonight, you will hear from one of our students in this district, and you all here on this board need to support our youth, our Black youth, our BSU students, a vessel that you guys have offered our students in this district to use for leadership. Please respect them and treat them like you guys know what you're doing when you guys are educating our children. Thank you.
Sorry, give me a minute.
If we could restart her time, please. Thank you.
Mission, I quote, "We provide the highest quality education and make positive life choices, strengthen our community, and successfully participate in a diverse and global society." Equity, I quote, "is the belief that all students can achieve at high levels of proficiency and that effects of institutionalized racism can be mitigated." Those statements are part of the district's mission and equity statement. And as a student who has been part of this district since the beginning of kindergarten and now towards the end of my senior year, you have failed at both of those things. You have failed me, you have failed these students, and you have failed these teachers. I, Genesis Green, at the age of 16, have faced racial discrimination and harassment from my teacher and administration at El Cerrito High School. My chances of winning a scholarship have been ruined, and I have been singled out by the leadership teacher at the school because I am the president of the Black Student Union. Not only has the school ignored me, but our own administration has ignored the many Black students who face discrimination. They have been suppressing us, and the district has not done anything about it. I filed a complaint against the same teacher a month ago, and now it has disappeared along with all the other complaints about the mistreatment of El Cerrito High Black students. When is it going to stop? I am frustrated, I'm hurt, and I am ashamed because I do not want to become another statistic. I already submitted multiple college applications and now I have to change them and explain that I got kicked out because of the color of my skin. It's embarrassing because my high school career has been tarnished, something I worked so hard for. I am looked at differently by people in leadership. They are treating me differently as if I'm a reject. And they are trying to give me that character so that I can fit the angry Black woman narrative. But I will not succumb under these circumstances that my school and my district refuse to fix. How dare you sit up on your high chairs? Imagine if this was your child, your niece, your nephew, your grandchild standing up here. They have faith in you. We put faith in you. Stop just collecting paychecks and do your jobs.
Council member or school board members, President Dimitri Hoy. Hi, my name is Josh Hanninger. I'm the executive director of the Contra Costa Central Labor Council. We're a federated body of 85 unions, representing almost 90,000 working people here in Contra Costa County. And we are proud to stand with UTR in their struggle for a fair contract for students, making sure that democracy is protected through actually investing in public education. And I'm sorry, I've been able to talk to some of these educators tonight. And when they tell me that over 3,000 people who are not accredited, who don't live in the state, are on Zooms teaching the children here every single day. I'm sorry, are we in Florida? Because the last time I checked, there was a lot of outrage on Ron DeSantis for putting teachers in with no credentials. What are you doing? Hire, staff up. Make sure you have enough teachers for every classroom. Make sure that they're respected. And you have a chance for community schools to think through with educators, with parents in a constructive way. You should be leading on this. So enough is enough. Sit down with the union, bargain a good contract. This is ridiculous. You know, these teachers sacrificed. These teachers sacrifice every single day to provide a quality education for children in one of the most stressful times in a pandemic. They made sure that their students were heard, that they had a moment, even on Zoom screens. You should be honoring their sacrifices, honoring the hard labor that they put in, and funding the schools. This isn't hard. You sit down and negotiate in good faith. And that is why the Contra Costa Labor Council passed strike sanction, because we unanimously agree that if you don't come to a terms and agreement that is good for all these educators, we'll be standing side by side in the street.
Can the following people come to the front? John Zavala, Francisco Ortiz, Ethan Sorsher, Angela Norman, and Jandy Quiron.
Okay, how do I follow that? Good evening, Board and Superintendent Hurst. My name is John Zavala, and I am the president of the United Teachers of Richmond. In September, a coalition of roughly 300 students, parents, community leaders, and educators spoke to you about the urgency of challenges that WCCUSD educators and students were facing, the need to recruit and retain professionals. We told you at that point that time was running out and that you needed to direct your staff to settle our contract. Months later, the contract remains expired, and an even larger coalition, 700 people in our estimate, are here to tell you that this is your last chance to recruit and retain credentialed educators in West Contra Costa. Since the beginning, our campaign has been about three things: physically and emotionally safe schools, shared decision-making through community schools, and a credentialed permanent educator for every student. These themes now are more prescient now more than ever. We're still waiting for a batch of international special education teachers. Our average salaries were found to be decreased last year, and districts around the area have removed service caps, which will allow them to poach our veterans. The educators of WCC do not want to strike. We want to work. We want to serve the children you've heard from tonight. That's what we signed up to do. That's what we've been doing, and that's what we'd like to continue to do. A strike is our last resort when negotiation fails. We believe many educators have given so much of themselves. You need to come right. You need to get this done. They are ready to fight for the schools our students and communities deserve.
Thank you, everybody. I apologize. Clapping is okay if we can hold on the chanting because it will bring down the time. I want to make sure we allow as many of you as we can, to speak tonight. We're already extending the public comment. We'll most likely will extend again, but it will cut on the time. So please go ahead, Mr. Ortiz.
Great,
If we
thank
could
you.
sorry, if we could restart his time, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So since many of you did not get a chance to hear the over 700 people who are outside, I just want to let everyone know in here. Whose schools? What kind of schools? Whose schools? What kind of schools? Take a moment to appreciate and stand in awe in the beloved community that has shown up for you here tonight. We are here together as an education justice coalition, fighting for the schools our students and our communities deserve. We are the most impacted when decisions about our schools are made. Our students, families, educators, and our community members must be equal partners and centered in shared leadership and governance for our community schools. Education and serving our youth and communities is high stakes work. We must follow any listening that we do with direct action. Otherwise, we're simply perpetuating generational harm on our most marginalized communities. The only way to get to different outcomes in this district is by using different strategies than those that have already been tried before. We need to shift our internal cultures so that the community can become our equal partners. We need to trust in our students, our families, our educators, and our community members with their ability to lead. We are currently experiencing tension because we're trying to do things differently than they've ever been done before. We worked closely with the district to secure the 5th largest community schools grant in the entire state. What is the buy-in from leadership and follow-through from the district, from the board, and the cities, which you've seen are here with us? We have City of Rich, and we have this
President Gonzalez Hoy, trustees, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. My name is Ethan Sorsher, and I teach fifth grade at Montalban K-8. Thank you. In March of last year, we heard experts claim that we desperately needed to issue reduction in force notices and reduce our certificated staffing, or else auditors from the state would take control of our budget and our autonomy. Trustees Christian, Smith-Folds, and Gonzalez-Hoy courageously and presciently rejected this claim. Last month, the same experts announced that they had not only balanced the budget, but were projecting a surplus over each of the next 3 years. I commend Dr. McIntyre and his team for their creativity and resourcefulness in achieving what they told us could not be done less than a year ago. Now the experts are claiming that we cannot afford to adequately compensate our certificated staff. UTR is demanding a 10% cost of living adjustment in an economy that has seen the consumer price index rise 14% since our last negotiated adjustment. Put simply, we are willing to accept an effective pay cut of 4% relative to inflation, which your budget projections show you can afford, but your negotiating team values our labor at even less than that. We join this work because we are passionate about serving our communities, but we also need to feed and shelter our families. Even without RIFs, 3,000 students started the year without a credentialed teacher in their classroom. Later tonight, Dr. Hurst and Dr. Greenwood are going to tell you about their goals to recruit and retain qualified educators. But how can we do that when we could make a better living working for similar communities in Berkeley or Oakland or San Ramon? Please direct your negotiating team to avoid a strike and agree with our demand.
Good evening. I'm Angela Normand, a middle school special education teacher in Brentwood Union School District, released as the CTA director for District C, which is not only Alameda and Contra Costa County, but representing the nearly 310,000 educators across this state who are all standing here with United Teachers of Richmond. In addition, I am also a fellow trustee representing Area 2 on the Alameda County Board of Education. As a trustee, you should know that we are beholden to the community that elected us, not the superintendent, not the fiscal or business officer, but the community. President Gonzalez Hoy, this is your community of educators who worked side by side with you while you were in West Contra Costa County. President Gonzalez Hoy, this is your national and statewide community who walked and fought side by side with you to get these same rights for Oakland, for New Haven, and for United Teachers of Los Angeles. We urge you to listen to this community. Every student deserves a permanent, high-quality certificated educator, an emotionally and physically safe learning environment, and every student deserves a community school.
And the following people, please come to the front. Jandy Giron, Nancy Rodriguez, Miguel Gallegos, Mark Schultz, and Mary Bowles. Jandy Giron. Okay, Nancy Rodriguez. Miguel Gallegos. Mark Schultz.
Mark Schultz.
Good evening, Board and Superintendent. I am here as
Hola,
a
buenas
parent
noches.
to speak on behalf
estar
of teachers
hablando
in support of their request for a better compensation.
I'm sorry, Mr. Schultz, if you can hold on 1 second, please.
I can relate to these
If you can
teachers.
hold on 1 second, please, sorry. Is our translation going in?
I think so. Yes.
Oh, okay. Just 1 second, everybody.
Testing, testing. Testing, testing.
Can you test again, please? Okay, we're good. Mr. Schultz, thank you. Sorry about that. We'll restart your time.
No problem. Okay, so I will start again and say that I am here to support the teachers in their request for better compensation. I personally understand what they are feeling. I taught high school for 12 years at local private schools, and because of the compensation, I had to leave. It wasn't a choice that I wanted to make, but having a family, as these teachers, I know some of them have, it's very difficult to raise a family on a teacher's salary, let alone one which is not even keeping up with inflation. This district has personnel on it who over the last 10 years have received on average $10,000 a year raise over 3 positions. That's on the staff of this district. I would like consideration for compensation for the teachers because they need it. Maybe not in the same degree, but they need at least an increase to keep up with inflation. If we don't have that for the teachers, then as they've said before tonight, they will leave. We've already seen some leave last year. We can't afford to have more leave because you cannot attract more teachers with less pay. They have options. And if you don't give them the right pay, you will not get teachers. It's that simple. So I request that every single penny that can be diverted toward teacher salaries be done so in this time. It doesn't have to be that way always, but at least catch them up so they can afford to live in the area. They can afford to come and be my son's teacher. Thank you.
Good evening. I've been at board meetings since the beginning of the school year, asking the WCCUSD school board to please help us get the stadium seating that we need at Pinole Valley High School. After the renovation of our field, we were reduced to less than half of what we had before. Every communication I have had with Louis Freeze has been solicited by me. Since our last meeting and walking the property to show him where there is plenty of space for more seating, which he said we did not have, he has not communicated any ideas, solutions, nor proposals. I see that it is on the agenda tonight, and I'm hopeful that the mistake that was made of cutting our stadium seating in half will be corrected. The Pinole Valley High School football team is currently in the position of state champions in our division. Sadly, we are about to have a city parade to honor our football team, and we don't have the seating for enough people in our stadium. This saddens me because this could have and should have been done by now if it is going to happen. Lastly, please give the teachers raises in line with the current economic situation. If you don't pay them a fair salary, not only will you lose them, but you will not be able to recruit others to replace them for what you are offering. A teacher shortage in our district is already a big issue. Other districts will be able to scoop up our best teachers and we won't see them again. If our teachers strike, our children will lose valuable instruction time that will not be able to be made up. Make whatever cuts you need to make this happen. It is possible if only you'll face the decisions and changes that you need to make. I was in this room the night when you asked the teachers to take a pay cut. I was here. This room was not full, but I was here when you asked them to get less money and you said it would be made up in the future. And that's not what's happening here. Please do.
The following people to the front, please. Sarah Torney, Tramika White, Kelly Carey, Rachel McLaughlin, and Julia Jamshi.
You go, girl.
Good evening. My name is Trinika White, and I want to bring to your attention a disturbing incident that occurred at El Cerrito High School yesterday, January 24th, 2023. My son, Christian White, is a senior at El Cerrito, finishing up his last semester. He is a respectful and fun-loving young man. He is a student athlete. He is inquisitive and a first-team All-League linebacker on the varsity football team that won the NCS championship this season. He is a hidden genius. He is an honor student with a 3.3 cumulative GPA. He is preparing for graduation in June and college in August, and I am super proud of him. Yesterday, Christian arrived for his 8:30 a.m. pre-calculus class, and there weren't any seats available for him. I was appalled to learn that instead of finding additional resources to accommodate him in the classroom, the substitute teacher, Mr. Knight, verbally disrespected him and deprived him of his education by using his body to physically prevent him from entering the classroom, and then slammed the door on his arm. As I described, Christian is well-rounded and far from a thug. To hear that Mr. Knight alluded to this is a huge problem for me, and it should be a huge problem for everyone in this room. The substitute looked at Christian and assumed he did not belong in pre-calculus class. My son was racially profiled, unfairly judged, and treated inappropriately, causing him physical harm. All he was trying to do was get his education, get to class on time, and learn. Our young Black males have enough to deal with. They should not have to encounter this abuse while trying to be proactive about their education. As a parent, this is heartbreaking. I arrived at school and Christian was clearly traumatized. I demand that there be transparency in the investigation, and I want those responsible held accountable.
Miss. If we can hold on the clock, please. Miss White, if you can please not leave and give your contact information to one of our staff members. Dr. Hurst is going to follow up with you, our superintendent, okay? Please give him your contact information.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Hurst, board members, cabinet members. My name is Kelly Carey, AKA Carey, and I am a kindergarten teacher at Peary's K. All of us in this room and via Zoom have had a teacher, coach, guidance counselor, support staff who have encouraged us, guided us, been there for us. Will you take, along with me, a few seconds to think about these people who have helped you become the individuals you are today? Whoever you have been thinking of, how pleased they must feel to know the difference that they know you have made. The students at WCCUSD have the same people who are encouraging them, guiding them in this room tonight. Teachers, support staff, librarians, psychologists, coaches, nurses. We need to retain these amazing individuals who show up daily, who go above and beyond their pay grade. As Mr. Rogers stated, an inspiration to me, we live in a world in which we need to share responsibility. It's easy to say, it's not my child, not my community, not my world, not my problem. Then there are those who see the need and respond. I consider these people my heroes. We have these people that see the need and respond continually. All of us have a chance to be those heroes in our students and our community's lives. Make that choice and do the right thing. Remember, actions always speak louder than words. Give us what we need, a fair and equitable contract. Thank you. Hi, you guys. It's good to see you in person again. My name is Sarah Torney. I'm a parent of a sixth grader at Collins Elementary and a freshman at Pinole Valley High. We're still here. I feel like we have had this conversation for at least the last decade. It has gotten seemingly worse each year. Promises are made and then broken repeatedly. New superintendents and board members are sworn in, and yet it's the same story. We're a large district, too big for our own britches. Some of the many issues include the disregard for the promised bilingual program, the condition of campuses, the concern for student safety, and the budget. The budget has been an issue since I was a student of Richmond Unified. But I didn't have the burden of knowing about it, most likely due to the lack of social media. Is it that we can't afford our teachers' living wage, or that we don't value teachers as a profession? This is a societal issue that we can only hope will change as the younger generations switch the focus of their morals and values. But it takes people like you to make the change. Be the change. We are still here. We are still here today, urging you to value our teachers so our children can learn the values, community, education, and especially the people who choose to work in the teaching profession to help them lead the way. Thank you very much.
Before we go to our next wonderful speaker, quick announcement. There is a car blocking someone from leaving. Mercedes SUV with the license plate 6YFW685. Black, it is parked in front of the community center. If you could please go move it, we'd appreciate it. Thank you. You can get started. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. Thank you, school board members, Dr. Hurst, and district staff. My name is Rachel Peretz McLaughlin. I'm a graduate of this district, Mira Vista, Portola, Kennedy High School. Go Eagles. I'm also a parent, a lifelong community member, and an educator in this district. I've taught for 24 years, half of which at Mira Vista K-8 school here in Richmond. Go Bees. I love our school, but we are not okay. We lost approximately a third of our teaching staff at the end of the year, and this created many vacancies. And we are not alone. More than 3,000 students across the district started the year without a certificated teacher. School board members, are you aware that we just got a 7th grade teacher this week? The school year is half over. That means we're halfway to the next set of vacancies. Throughout the district, teachers are considering leaving. Teachers do not feel supported, and WCCUSD is not offering a competitive wage. I'm an established homegrown educator in this district. I should be the one that stays here forever, but you will lose many of us just like me, and we will not be able to recruit new teachers if you don't reprioritize the budget. Students here in our community, the community where I was raised, deserve a permanent, high-quality, certificated teacher, and teachers deserve a competitive living wage. Whose community? Our community. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Juliet Jamshed. I'm a 6th grade teacher at Madera. Thank you. First of all, it's just unfathomable to me that you would let it get to this point where we're about to strike. I mean, it really is. You started the school year without hardly, a lot of teachers. There were lots of classrooms that had kids in there, but no teachers. In case you didn't know, there weren't people beating down the doors to work here. For those of us who did stay, and we toughed it out through the pandemic, and then after the pandemic, which was not an easy year, we toughed it out, and we're getting treated really poorly. So here we are. It's not really that hard. You treat your people well and you get rewarded, right? So this is why so many people are leaving the profession. Exactly this. Why people are quitting mid-year, why no new recruits are coming to this profession. Because they look around and they see school board meetings like this and they go, what is going on? Why wouldn't they pay their teachers a living wage? It makes no sense. And you guys have the money. I know you say broken record. We would love to pay you, but we don't have the money. You do have the money. You've gotten millions, hundreds of millions of dollars with COVID relief funds, which there was no transparency around ever. So we don't know what happened to that money, and there's no trust. There's no trust from you guys because you never showed us what happened to that money. Okay. It was supposed to go to teachers. I have a letter here from Miguel Cardona, our Secretary of Education, dated December 2021. He says right here, this money should go to improve compensation to recruit and retain educators and school staff. That's right here. Okay, from the Secretary of Education.
May the following people come to the front: Shalon Santiago, Lucia Cano, Kevin Sedano, Nicole Barajas, and Mauricio Ramirez.
Thank you, everyone. We heard you. We're going to repeat the names.
Shalon Santiago, Lucia Cano, Kevin Sedano, Nicole Barajas, and Mauricio Ramirez.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shalon Santiago. I'm mother of Christian and Ava. They both go to Stewart in the DLI program. I'm pretty sure you recognize me. I'm the parent behind the video entitled, "Where's My Teacher?" It's funny how it's still relevant right now. Where are the teachers? You guys aren't paying them. Simple answer. Look at this little boy. You failed him this year. He started school without a teacher. Our school had to pull up our bootstraps and find him a teacher. We had a parent that got emergency credentialed. You guys gave us an English teacher to put a little Band-Aid on our DLI program for kindergarten and third grade. Thanks. But what's going to happen next year? Next year, we're going to be out 3 teachers because we'll be missing third, fourth, and kinder. What are you guys going to do then? Because you still haven't gave them their contract, you haven't raised their pay, so no one's going to want to get hired. To me, it looks like you guys are creating a really big problem. I implore you, get off your high horse, get them their contract, and get these kids an education. These teachers are here, they're ready, and they want to work. You know what's really sad? I see a teacher back there ready to speak, and he's sitting grading papers. That is the dedication of our teachers. He's grading papers at 7:30 at night. Have you worked overtime? I doubt it. He's working overtime and he isn't getting paid what you are. Give them their pay so that they want to stay in our district.
Hi, my name is Lucia Cano. I'm a mom that has kids ranging from elementary to high school. I personally have seen how my kids have felt the effects of the teacher shortages, whether that be them losing teachers that they love and respect and have a relationship with, or teachers just being shifted to accommodate within the schools. I believe students deserve permanent credentialed teachers. I believe students deserve stable classrooms with caring, constant, and supportive teachers, especially after all the unstableness our children have had to deal with because of the pandemic. I feel like this is nothing new. Other districts are already filling positions by offering competitive salaries. Let's please reprioritize the budget to attract and keep great educators. Thank you.
We talk right? All right. Good afternoon. My name is Mauricio Ramirez. I'm 11th grade class president. And this is my classmate, Alex Haynes. And she is the 11th grade vice president. And we are students at Kennedy High School. And today we want to talk about how the Kennedy community wants a safe environment and a safe place to grow as a person. But we cannot do that if we don't have the support from the district. It's truly unbelievable how Kennedy High School has multiple classes that had no teachers. The issues are causing a lot of problems for the students' futures.
It's unbelievable how our teachers are getting paid less than what they deserve. The amount of teacher vacancies are unfair for our student body as we deserve the proper resources for our education. We want a credentialed teacher in each class. We want more college pathways and electives to set us up for success. We are seeking opportunities for our school and the district.
Thank you, and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Hola, muy buenas noches. Mi nombre es Kevin Sedano, pertenezco a Kennedy High School. Me gustaría tener mejores condiciones escolares, tanto físicas como educacionales. En las físicas me gustaría mejoramiento en todo, en recreaciones, baños, espacios. Como anteriormente tuvimos lluvias, tuvimos problemas en los roofs, en la escuela, académicas. Yo me vine, estudié, me metí al D. Nosotros en varias generaciones como yo necesitamos aprender inglés y no tenemos esa oportunidad, y me gustaría tener que los demás junto conmigo y las nuevas generaciones tengamos la oportunidad de aprender inglés y poder conseguir una carrera universitaria y lograr nuestros sueños.
Where do I turn it on? Okay. So he's asking for better conditions. I guess he's a student, a newcomer, and he's asking for better conditions for his school. Bilingual education. So in general, he's asking for a better education with the district. They have the right to that better education. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nicole Barajas. I'm in 7th grade and I attend Betty Reed Soskin Middle School. One of my concerns is the lack of teachers. I originally had a first period teacher, but after 2 to 3 months, he had told us that he was going to quit, and we asked why. He said because it didn't suit him well and it wasn't paying enough. After we have been juggling with teachers, and it is very hard for me and my class to know when or what teacher we're going to get. We have been getting teacher applications, but then soon after we realize our principal tells us that we're not going to get them because of the lack of money it pays. The supplies is also a concern. Some people don't have pencils, so when we ask the teachers, they don't have any either. I think that it shouldn't be the teacher who pays it out of their pocket. I think there should be money that goes to them. I think that the reason that some kids are unable to focus is because of the lack of materials that they have to do any work at all. I think that it should be your guys' job to give enough money to the teachers so that the kids can focus. I just think that we should be able to get paid more, and where is the money going?
Can the next following people please come to the front? Olinda Figueredo, Daniela Valenzuela, Denise Williams, Citlali Oseguera, and Araceli Vasquez.
Hello, I'm Olinda Figueredo, a senior at John F. Kennedy High School. I have spent my entire education in the West Contra Costa Unified School District. I may be leaving this district, but teachers like Ms. Huerta, Ms. Avendaño, Mr. Bader, and Mr. K need to stay. These teachers and so many more at the K work so hard and make such a difference in many students' lives. They don't just teach, they listen and make us feel safe. Do you know how many teachers have to use their prep period, their designated time to plan lessons, call parents, collaborate, meet with students, etc.? This takes the little time in the school day that they have to themselves. We need them to stay. We need good, permanent, reliable, and high qualified teachers to help pave the way for future success. WCCUSD students are the future, and for that reason, we need teachers to stay. You need to pay them what they deserve, period.
And I am a member of this community. And I came to say, I go to Easter Hill United Methodist Church, and I came to say, RESPCT, give those teachers what they need. RESPCT, so they can teach them. Oh, sock it to them, little respect. They keep trying. They keep on trying. Spending their own dime, and they ain't lying. RESPCT, find out what it means to teach. RESPCT, take care of teachers, please.
Hola, mi nombre es Citlali Oseguera y soy estudiante en Kennedy High School. Tengo la meta de aprender inglés y terminar la universidad, pero lamentablemente no tenemos muchos maestros en nuestra escuela. Es uno de los tantos recursos que nos faltan. Los estudiantes nuevos como yo tienen miedo a ir a hablar a la oficina, ya que no tenemos consejeros o directores que hablen español. Nosotros somos estudiantes y queremos triunfar. Los sueños que nos proponemos, pero no creen que los vamos a lograr si no tenemos recursos necesarios. Nosotros queremos aprender. Es nuestro derecho a desarrollar habilidades nuevas. Nosotros somos el futuro. Si los estudiantes dejan la escuela, dejarán de existir personas profesionales. Queremos respuestas, no excusas. Queremos una escuela donde no tengamos inconvenientes para aprobar nuestro futuro. Espero tomen en cuenta nuestras palabras, ya que todos queremos tener una sociedad sin miedos. Necesitamos sentir que tenemos el apoyo del distrito. Sin maestros, sin recursos, ¿cómo quieren que logremos terminar los estudios? Tenemos que seguir desarrollando lenguajes y culturas para que nunca se pierdan. Es desagradable la situación de la escuela, ya que no tenemos ventanas, estamos en un lugar donde solo es oscuridad. No hay una buena comida en la cafetería, los baños son desagradables, no tienen mucho personal. Somos muchos que venimos a reclamar lo que tanto anhelamos. Queremos que tomen en cuenta nuestras peticiones. Gracias.
Oh, that was a lot. So she's a student from Kennedy High School, and they are also newcomers, and they are here to ask for a better education. There's not enough teachers in their school that are bilingual. And sometimes the students are scared to go to talk to the office because nobody speaks Spanish there at the office sometimes. It is the right to have an education. They would like to have answers. They want to live in a society free without fear. They would like to have more support from the West Contra Costa. If there's no teachers, there's no learning, how can they finish their career? They have in mind the goal to learn English and go to university. But if there's no teachers, how can achieve that goal? Unfortunately, also the school, the Kennedy High School, doesn't have good services. Sometimes the bathrooms are not clean or they don't have good food. So they would like to feel supported from you to be better in the future, do better in their future. Thank you.
Hola a todos, tengan todos muy buena noche. Mi nombre es Daniela Valenzuela y también soy una estudiante de Kennedy High School. Soy una aprendiz en inglés. I'm an English learner. I'm a newcomer. I'm a Hispanic. And I'm going to talk in Spanish because I don't feel comfortable talking in English. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Muchos estudiantes en nuestra escuela no se sienten preparados para ir a college o a una university porque ellos no han aprendido aún a hablar inglés, no se sienten cómodos hablando el inglés como yo. Sorry. Todos en Kennedy High School, incluyendo a nosotros los hispanos, tenemos un sueño que todos venimos aquí a Estados Unidos buscando nuevas oportunidades, buscando una mejor educación, y muchos de ellos llegaron aquí pensando que eso iban a ser lo que ellos obtendrían. Pero después de un tiempo yo inicié en Kennedy High School este año y recién entrando me pusieron a una maestra de ciencias y todo estaba muy bien. Y después de 2 semanas me la quitaron y solo me dejaron tener clases en línea en donde hay profesores y muchas veces se puede decir que ni siquiera lo entendemos porque para terminar, en el sitio web en el que estamos estudiando, muchos alumnos ni siquiera tienen la posibilidad de ver los videos en español, no siquiera están entendiendo lo que los maestros están diciendo, no tienen cómo responder las preguntas, se sienten perdidos. Me identifico mucho con ellos, ya que como persona que su primera lengua es el español y como alguien que no habla el inglés,
It's okay. If we could have her to come up, please, and finish her thought. I know she lost time because of translation. Si quieres regresar y terminar lo que estabas diciendo, te podríamos dar un poco más de tiempo, si gustas, porque perdiste tiempo con la traducción. ¿Te gustaría regresar? Sí, por favor.
Como estaba diciendo, muchos estudiantes en Kennedy High School son hispanos y como se puede ver, les agradecemos de todo corazón que nos hayan dado el programa que es el ELD, pero como Richmond High que tienen el Newcomer Program y nosotros no lo tenemos, quisiéramos sentirnos más apoyados y más soportados, quisiéramos tener más soporte de los maestros y de los directores, de todos los que están en esa escuela, para que nosotros podamos en sí aprender inglés y poder tener una carrera, poder tener un mejor futuro, que es lo que todos los hispanos venimos a buscar a este país. Y pues nada, eso es todo lo que quería decir. Por favor, hay muchas personas que quieren venir a hablar, pero no tienen el coraje para hacerlo. Y yo vine aquí de todo corazón queriendo representar a todos los estudiantes de Kennedy High School, que básicamente... Sorry, it's okay. Just, I don't know what else to say. Just thank you very much for paying attention. Thank you.
She's a student from Kennedy High School. And as all the Hispanics that come to this country, they are here to they are following a dream. They are here looking for better opportunities, for better chances. She doesn't feel prepared at Kennedy High School. They don't feel that they don't feel supported from the district. There's a lot of students that don't have the courage to come and talk in front of you with the board. They are shy. So that's why she's here speaking on behalf of all of them. They are grateful for having the ELD program. However, they need more support from the teachers and the principals. And sometimes they feel lost. They are looking for a better future. At the beginning, they had a teacher that was teaching them science, but then after a couple of weeks, she left. So then they started receiving instruction online, but unfortunately, all the classes or the web that they were using, they were in English, not in Spanish. So they are still, of course, struggling to understand the lessons. So she's grateful for the chance to be here in this country and receiving an education. That's what they are all looking for, but they don't feel supported. Thank you.
My name is Araceli Vasquez. I am a DLI teacher and parent of this district. This is my 6th year teaching and most likely my last. I'm also considering my 5th grade and my TK children to attend a charter school. I used to say with pride that I was a product of this district. I'm also an English learner. I attended Chavez Elementary School, Adams Middle School, Richmond High. I was the first member of my family to attend college. I graduated from UC Berkeley, and I got my master's at USF. I did my teaching credential in San Francisco, but I knew I wanted to come back to Richmond because this is my community. I grew up here. But I am very disappointed in this district. I'm very disappointed of the lack of support for the DLI program. Teachers are not being heard, and my son is not receiving the education he deserves. I'm not worried about getting another job. I'm sure I could get another job somewhere else because I am highly educated. I'm biliterate. Not only do I speak, I read and write Spanish and English. And I have an exceptional work ethics. So I know if you don't make a change, and if you don't hear us and you don't listen to us, you're going to lose a lot of students, but a lot of teachers as well. So please pay us a living wage. Thank you.
And the following people come to the front: Maria Ponce, Andrea, no last name, Elsa Stevens, Alejandra Segura, and Alex Walker Griffin.
Good evening. My name is Maria Ponce, and I am a longtime resident of Richmond. I am a product of this school district. I went to Wilson, which is now Obama. I went to Adams, and I went to Kennedy High. So I am very aware of the struggles with our schools, but one being the low retention rate of qualified teachers. I have two children that are attending school in this district, one at Kennedy High School and the other at Mira Vista. My son's 7th grade class just recently got a full-time teacher, but had been without one since the beginning of the school year. Kennedy High School, at least I thought, was only one vacancy, but apparently there's multiple. In case you weren't aware, this is not okay. We must be able to attract qualified teachers and pay them a living competitive wage and retain the ones we have. Think about this. These individuals sought out to make a career in education. They navigated through their various obstacles, went to college, got their teaching credential, all because they want to make an impact on our children's lives. Yet it is disheartening when they realize they can't make ends meet because the job they work so hard for does not give them financial stability. Some often change career paths knowing that their true calling is to be a teacher, or they leave to other nearby districts for a better pay. As the saying goes, children are our future. Well, guess what? What kind of future do you envision with the current situation we are in? Let's give our children an opportunity to be educated by the teachers that have been here through thick and thin. They often take work home long after the school day has ended, and yet they are not compensated for it. It is unreasonable to think that they don't deserve to have better wages and benefits. If we want to be able to compete with other districts, let's start by retaining our teachers for our children's sake.
Elsa Stevens. I'm a resident of Richmond. I attend Easter Hill United Methodist Church. My brethren in this room, my brethren outside, my brethren online, and the community at large have been educated by the show Abbott Elementary. Our soloist from our church earlier led this group in respect, and we're very proud of her. The community is on the side of the teachers' union.
My kids call me Miss Andrea. I'm not only a teacher in the school district for the last 10 years, I'm a parent of a student. This is my community. This is my home. And it's funny that we're here speaking because it is January, and I'm gonna start with, I got a dream. And this ain't it. This ain't it. We've got teachers who are stressed out, can't afford rent, can't afford, I gotta get glasses. I'm lacking on things. My kids are hurting, my teachers are hurting. You got people who are employed who don't need to be employed, or you fucking move them around. I'm up here, and if I'm up here, I feel like what you offering people is a slap in the face. If you're not for us, you're against us. What are you doing? I'm stressed out. I'm struggling to stay on top of everything. Not only am I trying to live and be a better person every day and show that my kids should stand up for themselves. Well, guess what? I'm an adult and I'm tired, and I'm gonna stand up for myself. You tell us to teach and fight. We're fighting. I shouldn't have to be dying each day to wonder how I'm gonna live in the future. I got anxiety. I'm now on high blood pressure medication. How do you sleep at night? You finna go home, and guess what I'm about to do? I've been at home all day. And then I gotta turn up and do it again. Well, I see kids being abused, sitting in the office, people not showing up for work, and then you want me to help out, and I don't even, because I can't pass a Spanish test, that you won't pay me for bilingual, but I'm up here teaching and still trying to communicate with kids and parents. Please, how do you sleep at night? Look at us, you finna lose. You're gonna win the war. What are you doing?
Good evening, board. My name is Alex Walker Griffin. I have the pleasure of serving as the mayor of Hercules. But more importantly, I'm an alumni of this district. I'm a proud graduate of Ohlone Elementary, Hercules Middle, and Hercules High School. And I wish I came here tonight on better terms. But quite frankly, I'm disappointed in the direction that my home district, that my grandparents left Jim Crow, Mississippi, sent my mother to believe in the American dream. And we're not believing in our teachers. We know we live in one of the most expensive places on earth, and we know that these salaries are not keeping up, which is why, as the mayor of Hercules, from one elected official to another, I am demanding that you gratefully and rightfully bargain with the teachers of this district. We've heard it a million times that the youth are our future, and it's time we act like this. It's time we do something about it. You see, I'm a product, like I said, of Hercules, but I'm more importantly a product of the teachers who invested in me. My 5th grade teacher, Miss Nam, who still teaches at Ohlone to this day, is the reason why I didn't take my own life. She's the reason why I believed in myself. Every single day we have teachers grading, addressing those phone calls, addressing the needs of the students, and it's time we show them the respect that they freaking deserve. There really is no incentive to come to this district. From the conversations that I've been hearing, I don't know why anyone would want to work here. But you know what I have learned tonight? People give a damn about these kids. They care about this community. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into this city and these cities and these communities every single day. And it's time we give them the respect that they deserve. Thank you.
The following people to the front, please. Elsa Stevens, Alejandra Segura, Ken Ryan, Gabby Micheletti, and Andrea Livinghouse.
Could we please repeat the names one more time, please?
Elsa Stevens, Alejandra Segura, Ken Ryan, Gabby Micheletti, and Andrea Livinghouse.
Good evening. My name is Ken Ryan. I'm president of the Adult School Teachers Union. Yeah. And we're here in support of the K through 12 teachers. I was looking at one of their flyers, and they're asking for competitive wages, community schools, and shared decisions. 3 issues which the adult school teachers share with the K through 12 teachers. 9 of the 10 adult ESL teachers at Richmond High School at night are full-time K through 12 teachers in our district during the day. They can't make ends meet on their full-time salary. The second issue, community schools. Before the pandemic, there were adult ESL classes at 14 community sites. The ESL program is now centralized at 3 sites. Parents at one school in Eastern have been asking for adult ESL classes for 2 years. The adult school teachers have advocated to return classes to where parents live, but the answer from administration has been no. There can be no equity if the administration does not listen and act upon what the community and teachers want. Competitive wages, community schools, and shared decision-making. Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Hurst, board members. Good to see you tonight. I've seen you at a lot of school board meetings, and at those school board meetings, I have said, teachers do not want to strike, and teachers deserve a competitive wage. Now, I know it's just been me and like 4 other people in this meetings, but I hope you saw the 800 people here tonight, because we are not playing games. It is time for you to settle this contract. We deserve competitive wages so that we can keep teachers in every student's classroom. There should not be students in this district trying to learn biology from a teacher on Zoom. They don't get a lab. How are they supposed to learn science? You guys need to show some respect to the people who do the work of this district. My school, Verde Community School, it's been a community school for a while. There's a lot of things our school provides for the community, many services, and that is where that money needs to go. Not contractors, not books in English we didn't ask for students who are speaking Spanish and need practice in any language. Let's start actually doing what the community needs. Let's take care of our students, because the whole point of being a school district is to teach the students who will lead our democracy tomorrow.
Good evening. We are the K-12 Speech Language Pathologist Department of the United Teachers of Richmond. We perform a myriad of tasks, including evaluations, providing speech therapy, writing and holding IEPs, collaborating with teachers, parents, and staff, logging student attendance, and therapy notes. We serve and support some of our most vulnerable population. Every person deserves to have their voice heard, especially students with communication deficits. However, burnout has unfortunately become a word I hear too often among my colleagues. We have been struggling to fill open positions in the last 3 years. The district's refusal to give us the salary increase that our union proposed is not going to help us recruit district SLPs. SLPs in our neighboring districts have been given salary increases with less work days. Why would we work here under these circumstances? We are in dire need of SLPs, and we can't attract them if the district does not give us a salary increase that will help them live decent lives. We chose our field of work because we want to help our students be heard and find their voice. But in order to support our students and families, we need to be able to care for ourselves first. The district has received historic funding, despite what they otherwise tell you. They have the means to fund our salary proposal and recruit district SLPs, as well as a certificated teacher in every classroom. Your refusal to participate in community schools grants says a lot about your misguided values as leaders in education. We implore you to do better, and we're prepared to strike if we have to make these changes ourselves. Please prioritize our families and students' needs by supporting us and the proposals by our union, or you will lose us.
May the following people come to the front: Rachel Grotke, Sam Clear, Evelyn Smith, Alexander Gonzalez, and Rebecca Raycon.
Hello, I'm Rachel Grotke and I teach second grade at Ellerhorst. You saw me speak at our previous UTR rally in September, and I'm pretty angry that I have to be here again because obviously our message didn't get across 4 months ago. Since we're currently in fact finding, I'm here to give you some facts I didn't have to go find. While negotiating for almost a year, the district has purposely dragged its feet and insulted us over and over again. They showed its gratitude for teachers by declaring impasse right before Thanksgiving break. They wasted our time at the first mediation session, this time right before December break. This was with their holiday cheer for us. During break, I spent gift cards from parents and students who do appreciate me. I got to buy groceries at Trader Joe's before the holidays with none of my own money. I got to buy basic things like toilet paper, cat food, new warm socks for the winter with gift cards at Target. And I cannot tell you how nice it was to be able to do this. These are not luxury items. These are needed essentials. COLA this year is 8.6.
One second, they'll turn it on for you. Could we stop the clock for a second? There we go.
It was at like 48 seconds.
Yeah, thank you. We can bring it up to 50 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you. These are needed essentials. COLA this year is 8.7%, but we haven't even been offered that, which would honestly only be breaking even. We need and deserve more. Even after yanking teachers from their sites in September to fill other vacancies, there are still positions not filled. I attended these schools as well as both of my parents. I've spent half of my life teaching in this district. This is not the case for the highest paid leaders of our district. They come from out of state or from other areas of California, and they do not know our community as we do, and they will be gone before most of us. We are tired of the district shenanigans, and we will strike. Believe it. These are your facts.
Good evening, everyone. I appreciate getting the opportunity to speak. My name is Sam Clear, and I'm a third grade teacher and union rep at Siege Elementary. It's my 6th year there. Y'all have heard me speak in multiple board meetings, one-on-one through emails, and you've heard me on the news. Siege, the conditions at Siege are unbearable. We have mold. There have been rats. The windows won't open. You can't see out of them. And we wonder, would you send your loved ones to a facility such as Siege's? Would you send them there? Would you have a loved one work in these conditions? Would you come and work in these conditions? You've heard from us. We need to hear from you. Last year, we conducted a very successful sick out. None of the teachers went. Only 1/4 of the student population went to school those days. And you don't think we'll strike? Now, Siege is a community school. We need to focus on our community schools. At Siege, all the teachers came back from last year. Our student population grew from around 200 to 260. Families and children love going to Siege. Now, do we want everyone to come back? Do we want all the teachers and staff members to come back? Do we want to continue seeing the success? Then we need to focus on our community schools. Siege is a community school. We need to include community school language in our contracts.
Hi, my name is Evelyn Smith. I am a special education teacher at Coronado School. I work with the youngest students in our school district. Over and over, my parents tell me how much they appreciate the work I do with their students. This is very meaningful for me because I am very dedicated and very hardworking, 21 years. All of your teachers are just like me, teachers who work overtime for free. I've heard you, Dr. Hurst, all you trustees, talk about how much you appreciate the work the teachers do. And now you need to show your appreciation through action. You need to accept what our bargaining team has put on the table. Between December 2018 and December 2022, inflation rose by 14.57% in the Bay Area. I am now earning less than what I was earning in 2018 because I haven't had a raise in 5 years. Show your appreciation to your teachers by offering us a fair wage increase that is competitive with districts in our surrounding areas. If you do not act, you will lose more teachers, you will lose more speech therapists, and you will lose more school psychologists. No more words, just act and accept what our bargaining team has put on the table. You will lose your passionate new teachers. I hear them over and over again. I can't afford rent. I want to move out on my own. And you are gonna lose experienced teachers like me.
Good evening, school board. My name is Alexander Gonzalez. I am a teacher at Richmond High School. Please, a round of applause for Richmond High School. All right, so I'm going to start off with, you saw what happened on Monday. I know everybody did. So I am honestly outraged and appalled at something that caliber had to happen for us teachers to deal with. On top of this, honestly, guys, you need to look at each and every one of yourselves. Teachers deserve a living wage. I come from Vallejo, every day commuting, pay a toll of $200 every month, give the shirt off my back to my students, pay everything that they ask me for, waters, anything they ask me for, I don't question it. And I still have to come every day to something like that to happen in my school. And guess what? Now you don't even want to pay us. Guess what? I came from Fireball. I'm a first generation student, came with a 3.7 GPA, graduated from UCSB, and got my teaching credential at Fresno State. Guess what? I left the Valley to come here to teach here. And guess what? I may go back. Because you know what? You can't afford me. I want to stay here. I love my kids. And I implore you to think inside your hearts and think you're hurting people like good people like me, all those teachers behind you and outside. You want to see passion? You got it right here. My kids are going to debate. They're going to the national debate tournament on March 31st through April 2nd. I got them there.
The following people, please come to the front. Rebecca Raycon, Bill Hodges, Thomas Gagney, Maricela Lopez, and Colleen Ballantyne.
The next 5 speakers will be our last speakers in the room.
Good evening. My name is Maricela Lopez Suarez, and I'm a member of UTR within the psychology department. However, these days, I am best known as Miss Mari, the wraparound facilitator and the therapist at Highland Elementary from our school-based clinic. In the world of business, there's a lot of talk about team building and the positive effects on workers' productivity. We know that feeling valued and appreciated in our place of employment makes for a better work climate that is conducive to giving the best of ourselves. Our work climate has taken a big hit with the challenging negotiations. I feel undervalued and underappreciated by the leadership of my district, a district I've devoted nearly 20 years of my professional career. Not only do I work here, I am also a tax-paying resident of the city of Richmond. I moved here over 12 years ago, wishing to be an integral member of my community as a resident and an employee. I don't want to leave my community because I feel undervalued and underappreciated. I want to continue to give the best of myself to the children and the families of this community. I want to run into my families when I go to the grocery store and when I'm eating at a local restaurant. I want to be able to see the kids and their families years later. I have no interest in driving 20, 30, or 45 minutes to be able to give to the kids of those communities. I lost my place. I want to be here, I want to stay here, and I want to contribute to the families and their healing journey in this district. Day in and day out, I witness the suffering of our families and believe that our community schools would be a step in the right direction to address the multidimensional needs of our families to support our children be most available for learning. We are in a crisis, and we need to keep our teachers, our support staff, and every member of this district who is the backbone of the work that we do. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Bill Hodges. I'm a teacher at Verde K-8, and I think it was 8 years ago in 2014, 2015, I started teaching in this school district. It was my very first school year, first year as a full-time teacher. I moved back to California after living in Boston and getting my master's at UMass. I came back to California because this is where I'm from and I love it here. I met the most amazing, inspirational, powerful educators. I met a woman who became an amazing mentor to me. And I got to teach here for 2 years. And so that brings me to 7 years ago where I was standing here around this same exact time. And it sounds to me like I'm hearing the exact same thing 7 years later. And 7 years ago, I left and I went to another district for 5 years. And that brings me up to about 2 years ago when that same mentor who still teaches in this district today and who's an amazing woman who I'm still inspired by every day. And she said, hey, we need teachers here. And I thought, well, why not? I'll give West Contra Costa another try, because the people that I met here, the people that I have here tonight are so inspiring. They're so dedicated to the students, the people of this community. And it's really disappointing to hear the same exact things after 7 years that you continue to do the same.
Hello, my name is Colleen Ballantyne. I am a special education teacher at Ellahorst Elementary School. I hold the position of Special Services Director on the United Teachers of Richmond Executive Board. I as well hold a position of Vice Chair of the bargaining team. So about 7 years ago, I began speaking to you about the fact that I live with my mommy. I cannot afford to move out. I always said my kid will probably move out before I do. She did. I did not. I cannot. Luckily, I totally dig and love my mommy roommate, and she loves me. She even went on an egg hunting adventure for me. So with that said, about a week ago at Grocery Outlet Bargain Market, 12 eggs costed $7.99. 18 eggs costed $9.99. So about 10-ish dollars for 18 eggs. That's about 55 cents per egg. I'm not fancy at math. I eat 2 eggs a day, about 5 days a week. So we break that down to about $22 a month, $264 a year. Painting spring eggs is not an option this spring. I previously mentioned that the dollar store increased by 25% from $1 to $1.25. I am now priced out of the dollar store, and we will be painting potatoes this year. I last spoke and shared a poem for preschoolers about sharing. My 4- and 5-year-olds at work share better than West Contra Costa Unified School District. I often speak tongue in cheek because many other people can bust out some really fantastic facts, but this is anecdotal yet very realistic. You will bleed teachers to surrounding districts if you don't learn how to share and treat these educators with the respect and compensation they deserve. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Thomas Gagne. I'm an English and theater teacher over at De Anza High School. Thank you. You know, an interesting, incredible moment happened while I was standing outside waiting to get through these doors. There were about 700 people outside with signs ready to, you know, take whatever action we need. And yet somehow the teacher, the brand new teacher, this is her first year, the teacher I was speaking with, she and I ended up speaking about the new students that we got today and how we can best support them. And it just stood out to me how incredible these teachers are and how long we've had our passion for our students taken advantage of. Look around, you have students, teachers, parents, an incredible community asking for you to allow them to buy into schools. And yet, despite that, they're being ignored. And it makes me think that instead of being part of this incredible grassroots movement, this incredible community, we're instead being treated like cogs in a machine. Which of course makes me think of the Mario Savio speech about how there comes a time when the operation of a machine becomes so odious that it makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part in it. And you have to throw yourself on the gears and on the levers and ensure that unless our demands are met, that machine will be prevented from working at all. I don't know what it is that has convinced you that we're not ready to strike, but I promise you, you're wrong. Thank you.
Thank you, board. I know we have gone to 2 hours. 1 second. We have gone 2 hours with public comment. I know we extended it 1 hour. If there's no objections, I would like to extend another 30 minutes for the people on Zoom. And I apologize, there's close to 130 of you signed up for public comment. Unfortunately, we simply cannot accommodate everybody, but we're trying our best. So I hope you understand. We're gonna switch to Zoom because otherwise it'll be over 5 hours of public comment, which we of course hear very much. And thank you for being here. So we're gonna transition to Zoom. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna transition to the first 15 minutes, the 15 people on Zoom, please.
Our next public comment is Kim Dower Sargentini. Please unmute yourself.
Hello, my name is Kim Dower Sargentini. I've taught in the district for 27 years. My children attend district schools. This year has been challenging. We've been down staff all year. We have a substitute shortage. We have to split classes and take students routinely. We're still having issues with attendance. Still, children are making progress based on our recent STAR scores. We urge you to settle our contract. We are ready to strike. We're prepared to strike, but none of us want to strike. But we're almost resolved that it's the only option we're left with. As a parent and teacher, I'm really sad at what this is going to do to our students. They'll go backwards in their progress. Most parents say they're going to keep their kindergartners home. I imagine a large amount of absence will lead us to lose more funding. I can't even imagine trying to start over again after a strike when it's taken me so long to get to the point where I am in this pandemic setting. I have students with special needs. It will be stressful for them. They thrive on routine and they will have nothing but chaos. I have colleagues that intend to leave the district. It's been happening for years, but other districts have positions open and they're offering $10,000 bonuses and one is offering a 20% raise. It sounds appealing and people who have 10 to 15 years in our district have told me they intend to leave because other districts will apparently now transfer 17 to 20 years. We're hemorrhaging staff. We conduct these equity studies, but then nothing seems to change and we don't seem to improve our working conditions. Our students need teachers. We have some great teachers and employees working in our district, but we need respect and a living wage. Everything has gone up in society except for my paycheck. I am begging you to urge the district to work with the teachers and settle this contract. We don't want to strike, but we will strike. Thank you.
Our next public comment is Sydney Allen. Please unmute yourself.
Hello, my name is Sydney Allen. I'm a kindergarten teacher over at Ohlone Elementary, and this is my 5th year teaching. I have been a UTR rep now for 3 years, and I don't know what I could say that is any different than you have been hearing all night long. You cannot put our students first if you put our teachers and staff last. It's as simple as that. We have no reason to stay here if we can get a much better wage and buy houses, move out of our parents' houses, if we can buy the supplies we want for our students, because let's be real here, we are buying more supplies for our students than the district is providing supplies for our students. I love my kindergartners. They think I'm the perfect teacher because which kindergartners don't think their teachers are perfect. I want to stay here for them and I love my community, but the district does not treat me with respect and does not show that they care about me. So why would we stay? We will strike, we will succeed, but do we really have to do it? If you can direct your bargaining team to bargain and settle with us on salary and community schools, if it is not written in our contract, it will not happen. It is written in our contract that the district has to provide soap for our classrooms. We really have to write something as simple as that in our contract for it to actually be provided. Then of course we're going to push for our salaries and community schools to be written in our contract, because if it is not written in our contract, it will not happen. Thank you.
Our next public comment is Tomas Flores. Please unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is Tomas Flores. I'm a parent of a student at Ohlone, soon to be 2. Right now I'm gearing up to hire a bunch of camp counselors for the city that I work for. And I looked at the pay for the jobs in the area for the people that I'm targeting that might be applying to see, when I post my positions, that the pay will be competitive and attract people to apply. And sure, my applicants may love working with kids in a nature setting. They may even want to become educators themselves and have a passion for working with children of all ages and abilities. But as an employer, I know that their passion will not pay their bills. And as a human, I refuse to exploit that passion, even if it saves my city a few dollars. And why? Well, I mean, in the end, people who are compensated fairly for the work they do are happier. Happier employees for me means happy campers and very happy parents. WCCUSD is more than welcome to copy this model. I didn't think I'd have anything to offer as a recruiter because my background is in education, but apparently with all the companies and districts claiming that no one wants to work while ignoring a disparity in pay and the rising cost of living, it seems I do have something to offer to employers who are recruiting and or negotiating with their employees. Pay your teachers what they're worth. You'll retain and attract great teachers who aren't worried about trying to make ends meet. You'll find that your teachers are not so burned out. You'll find people who would even return to the profession if they could afford to live on that salary. As I said in the previous meeting, you pay teachers what they're worth, or you'll end up with teachers who are worth what you're paying, and that's not nearly enough. Thank you.
Our next public comment is Maisha Harris Gash. Please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you. It finally showed up. All right. I'm a Kennedy teacher and a very proud Kennedy graduate as well. A personal pain was it touched me recently after watching the Richmond High School video. I remember my Black male student coming to me to vent because a Latino student kept using the N-word in their class. My student asked his teacher to address it, but it didn't stop. My student asked me to speak with my colleague about the offensive word repeatedly being used. The conversation ended with me telling my colleague that if my student came to me one more time about that racist word, there would be several complaints filed. I share my experience because I continually wonder who uplifts our Black males, who values their presence, validates their lived experience in this community and in this school district, who truly provides them with a safe space to express their hurts, anger, frustrations, and more importantly, to express their dreams. I can say with confidence that every school site in this district can do better, and we need to do better. Am I ready for the murmuring that will follow my words tonight? Absolutely, I am. What I will say is this: instead of murmuring, let's have a discussion. Let's take affirmative action to make things better for our Black male students. Who is one of the most disrespected in these United States of America? Someone who looks like Trustee Christian, Trustee Phillips, and someone who looks like Dr. Hurst. I'm sure they've had to weather many storms as they were coming up and growing into their manhood. We have a responsibility to help our Black male students to weather their storms, to grow into their productive manhood. So let's work together and let's not murmur in our individual corners. Let's come together, let's have a conversation, and let's make things better for our Black male students. Thank you.
Our next public comment is Karen Van Winkle. Please unmute yourself.
Good evening. My name is Karen Van Winkle. I'm a proud mom of 3 West Contra Costa School District students. I've proudly taught in the district for 24 years. This year, our district is projected to spend only 29% of our total budget on teachers, while other neighboring districts are spending almost 40% of their total budget on teachers. Do the math. West Contra Costa currently has 142 vacancies. Do the math. Treat us with respect And I agree with former speakers. If you're not for us, you're against us. And we are ready to strike. Thank you.
Our next public comment is Phyllis Mandel. Please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself. Next public comment is Chandra Sher. Please unmute yourself.
Good evening. My name is Chandra Sher, and I'm sure you're getting familiar with my voice as I've been calling in quite frequently. I'm a second and third grade teacher at Ohlone Elementary. And this year, due to staffing shortages at other schools, we had 2 teachers taken from us. My class was collapsed and made into a 2-3 combo. And this was all because we started the year with over 200 vacancies, because we can't compete with the salary and benefits in neighboring districts. You have received record government funding for the purpose of increasing salaries, yet you continue to spend less than other districts in the Bay Area on people who work directly with students. You cannot say you can't afford to pay us, because the reality is you cannot afford not to. There are still over 100 teacher vacancies in our district, while there aren't any in other districts. I was raised by a single mother and attended public school for my entire educational career. I made it all the way to UC Berkeley for my undergraduate degree because I had qualified, experienced teachers who cared about me and rooted for my success. I want nothing less for my students. I implore you to put my students and their futures first by ensuring their class is never collapsed mid-year again, by ensuring they never have a class without a teacher, and by ensuring their teachers are compensated for the value of their hard work and dedication. Fix the salary shortcomings that keep educators from teaching here. Thank you.
Our next public comment is Gig Jenkins. Please unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is Gig Jenkins. I'm a second grade teacher at Ford Elementary School. I'm also a bargaining team member for UTR. My question for you is why? Why has this district gone out on an all-out attack on its educators, refusing to bargain in good faith? Why would this district rather pay consultants and lawyers and contractors top dollar and not pay its educators a cost of living increase? Why does this district come to the educators asking for concessions when it's struggling financially, but fights us when we are asking for the money the state directed for the classrooms to go to the classrooms? Why does this district feel our students in the West Contra Costa County Unified School District don't deserve access to experienced qualified teachers in their classrooms like neighboring districts do? Why does this district not see the value of the work of its employees that work most closely with its students? Why can't the district recognize that it can't hire new teachers to fill our classroom and is in danger of losing its experienced teachers to districts that will pay them their worth? Why is this district refusing to provide community schools that work for our communities? Why?
Our next public comment is Luis Chacon. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, good evening, folks. Thank you. My name is Luis Chacon.
I am a alumni at Richmond High School, current teacher at Richmond High School. I have children in the district, family members in the district, friends that work in the district that send their children to this district. I am very embedded in this district. But for as long as I've been embedded in this district, I remember the first time in high school when I heard that unions were a thing and that the board was a thing, was a teacher of mine who really helped guide me into college and telling me that the district was just not coming to the table to negotiate with teachers. Clearly, not a thing has changed. We spent a lot of time in the last couple of years talking about wanting to move in the direction of being an anti-racist district, yada, yada, yada. Clearly, we are not maintaining ourselves to that commitment. How can we possibly be an anti-racist district when we are not prioritizing our students who are predominantly Black and brown? How can we be an anti-racist district when we're not taking care of our teachers? Teachers that are, like myself, that are expected to not only teach, but be counselors, be advisors, be mentors, be healthcare workers, be social workers. We are burnt out. And now we have to fight for our wages. And now you're telling us that you can't even be like move in the direction of community schools when it's something that I sold to my students and the families that I work with and sold it as this magnificent thing and hosted focus groups and invested a lot of energy. And now that was just another false dream and another false hope that the district is selling students and families. This is outright embarrassing. There's really no other way to describe it other than embarrassing. For far too long, this district has not served our students in the right way. And enough is enough. Pay us and support us. Thank you.
Our next public comment is Olivia Araiza. Please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself. Next public comment is Corey Aguilar. Please unmute yourself.
Good evening. My name is Corey Aguilar, and I'm the Director of Education and Economic Justice at the Rice Center in Richmond. It is with great honor and humility that I'm able to speak in front of each and every one of you tonight, even if it's on Zoom. For years, Rise has co-created safe spaces grounded in social justice that build youth power for young people to love, learn, educate, heal, and transform their lives and their communities. We believe that the future of our city is in the hands of our youth, and we will continue to stand firmly in this belief as we continue the work that we do every day. In particular, RISE established its Education and Justice Department to directly address the inequities within two systems that intersect at various points and all too often have disproportionately negative impact on youth of color. We now stand at a crossroads that once again reminds us who we are impacting the most as we make these decisions that will change the future of Richmond, this district, and the future of education at large. This district was granted a large sum of money to begin the community schools transformation that was intended to hold our families, our teachers, and community members and young people at the center of how we move forward. It is with this great task that I ask that we continue to center our loved ones who maybe can't be here physically, but who are in our hearts and our minds. We held listening sessions with hundreds of our community members, and after listening, we know what we need to do. Our young people fight like hell every day to survive, educate themselves, and reach their full potential, and we will continue to follow their lead. I thank each and every one of you for being here. We will stay grounded in love and rage, and we will continue to examine and critique these systems that are built on this trauma. Thank you.
Our next public comment is Angela Brandt. Please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself. Next public comment is Leah Chang. Please unmute yourself.
Hello. I'm speaking to you guys again this year because nothing has really changed since I spoke to you last year when you guys were considering cutting teachers and staff. We still have a lack of teachers. The shortage is way worse this year. My school, Valley View Elementary, started off the work year without a 4th grade, 5th grade, or 6th grade teacher, or a 4th to 6th grade MMSN teacher. That's the special ed class. 6th grade never found a permanent teacher. They had 2 different subs who eventually left. The students slowly, one by one, transferred to different schools because the district never made a decision on what to do with this class until finally the classroom was dissolved. Many of those students had attended Valley View since kindergarten, and this was supposed to be their year to celebrate their graduation. Instead, some went to middle schools without a graduation, and others had to adjust to different elementary schools in the middle of the school year. The 4th through 6th grade special ed class was lucky to find a long-term sub, but they still do not have a permanent teacher. This is the 2nd year in a row where that class has not had a permanent qualified teacher. I'm also at work at Cameron Preschool, and their special education classrooms were full and waitlisted very early in the school year, and we did not have the staff to open up new classrooms. And I want to remind you guys that you guys are legally required to provide these services that are listed on a student's IEP, and the district has not done that this year. Thank you.
Our next public comment is Judy Straw. Please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Good evening, Board and Dr. Hurst. I'm a parent of 2 children at Ohlone Elementary School. This year, my 2nd grade daughter was impacted by your staffing shortage when they collapsed her class and turned it into a 2-3 combination class. Some of her friends were transferred out of her class, and 12 3rd graders were transferred in. This caused a lot of unnecessary stress and anxiety for her and for her friends. My daughter and their classmates deserve to be in a stable learning environment with a caring and supporting teacher every year. WCCUSD needs to reprioritize its budget to ensure we are attracting qualified teachers and keeping them in our schools for more years to come. Our district will not be able to recruit or retain teachers without competitive salary. Please make this a priority. Our community appreciates and supports our teachers and will do whatever it takes to make sure we don't lose them. Thank you so much.
And our last public comment for tonight is Lauren McCollins. Please unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is Lauren McCollins. I am a mother of 2 little ones, a kindergartner and a 2nd grader at Ohlone Elementary. I say here tonight to say that our teachers, our parents, and our students do not need a better future. They need a better now. And right now is the time to stand on the right side of history. You went and got elected for this position, and you told the people, you told the parents, you told all of us what you were going to do for us. Be that person. Be that person. I understand all the pressure of what it feels when you're standing there and you have a choice to make on a budget, and prioritize the people, the children. They know what you said you would do. So be it. And so if we have to look back on years from now, are you going to be on the side that showed I didn't even try? I didn't even push further. When we want to make people that the societies in the world that make a difference and that people want to be at are the ones that prioritize families and children and teachers. The ones that we go, wow, look at those places on earth. Why don't we go? Why don't we look like them? We can be that. And especially as a
as a board of color, people of color, come with it. Show them that we can lead like lions and that we can lead and make sure that we ensure our families and our children are not looking for just a better future, but they're having a better right now. I ask that, and I ask that on behalf of all these families and all these children. They're going to make history.
Thank you so much to all of our educators, parents, and students for calling in. Yes, Trustee Reckler.
I have a brief comment, if I may.
We will have time for comments, but not right now. So we're gonna actually take a break at the request of another board member. So we're gonna take 10-minute break, and then we're gonna come back and continue with our agenda. Trustee Reckler, we will have time for comments though. We will come back at 9:10. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. Okay. Looking at our agenda, we are now heading into agenda review and adoption. Dr. Hurst and I are pulling item number E1, the summit item. For the public who was waiting to comment on summit, the reason why is because we got documents turned into us by Summit Charter today, which did not allow us to review it. So we are bringing back this item in February once staff has had a chance to look through all the documents sent to us. Thank you. So board, is there any other changes to our agenda? No? Okay, with no objections, we'll move. Okay. Now we're gonna move to approval of minutes from January 11th, 2023. Board, are there any changes to the minutes? Trustee Reckler?
Yes, thank you. I do have a change on the January 11th minutes. B5, report out of closed session should be expulsions of students, not explosions of students.
Thank you for that big distinction, Trustee Reckler. Are there any other changes? Wonderful. Are there any objections? All right, with that one change, it is moved. Okay, we're moving approved, excuse me. We're moving now to consent. Board, are there any consent items anyone would like to pull? Trustee Reckler?
Yes, I'd like to pull C4 contracts, and then I have a comment on C15, approve appointments of board trustee to committees.
Okay, thank you. Any others? Okay, we're gonna come back to C4 and C15. Without objections, we'll approve the rest of the consent. Okay, approved. Dr. Hurst, we'll move to your communication, please.
Thank you. If you can bring up the report, and while we're bringing up the report, we want to bring up the PowerPoint first, and then I'll do the other piece. But I want to share a statement that I have for the community. Dear WCCUSD community, I want to echo our community's concern regarding the incident that occurred in the classroom at Richmond High School on Monday, January 23rd, in which a student used a racial slur toward a staff member, and that staff member responded by physically assaulting the student. I would like to share our immediate response to the incident and also share our commitment to addressing the underlying issues that this incident has laid before us. On behalf of the West Contra Costa Unified School District, I strongly condemn the use of any racial slurs or harmful language, as well as the use of physical violence. Schools must be psychologically and physically safe in order for our students to learn and for educators to teach. Physical violence by any adult is never appropriate, and it's never an appropriate response for a child. Furthermore, acts of violence are deeply harmful to all present in the learning environment. We also know that racial slurs are deeply harmful to students and staff, and we're committed to restoring a learning environment that affirms the inherent dignity and worth of all members of our community. We're fully investigating Monday's incident, and staff are following up to ensure that there are appropriate administrative responses for all involved. I can confirm that the staff member involved in Monday's incident was immediately released from employment with WCCUSD. While we do not discuss matters of student discipline, I can also confirm that staff are following up with the student and their family in order to ensure an appropriate response and necessary support. We're responsible for supporting the growth and development of all WCCUSD students, including after any transgression. As a school community and as a learning institution, we're committed to the safety and well-being of all students and staff. This includes listening to the voices of our Black students and educators who have shared experiences in the wake of Monday's incident. In addition to providing immediate and continuous mental support to Richmond High School students, school and district staff have worked with Richmond High School Black Student Union in order to support student-led activism and organizing regarding the use of racial slurs and the treatment of Black students and teachers at Richmond High School. As superintendent, I'm committed to ensuring that our district follows the lead of our young people and listens deeply to our educators. We will ensure that the important organizing work of the Richmond High community will be met by support, resources, and action in order to create systemic and sustained change. In action, we're moving our timeline up to engage with the community, meaning our employees, our students, business partners, and community in developing our equity statement and our stances on anti-racism and what we will not tolerate. I also want to share with you a conversation I engaged with Principal De Leon, who's here in our audience. He's been doing a great job using this incident as a teaching opportunity, and also with his Black Student Union organizing and asking for a call of action. He actually submitted to me this evening, Principal De Leon, a conversation that's been happening with his students, but especially the Black Student Union, the call to action to stop using the N-word, but also not just stop using the N-word, but addressing it in the family as well. So what does he need to do within the community to stop the use of racial slurs, but especially that word that was used, the N-word? So I will share with you that we do have a commitment to move up our timeline. As I share with Principal De Leon, we too want to really have that conversation community-wide around what we will not tolerate and what the actions will be if someone is using a racial slur. We did send an email to the Rise Center, and I did speak with them, and they're interested in partnering with us and having a deliberate conversation around what's been happening with our young people and even our adults. And it's not just at Richmond High School, everyone, it's across our district. So we're really interested in addressing this issue immediately. So we wanted to start off with that statement. If we can bring up the PowerPoint first. If next page, please. We wanted to take the time to honor our board members, This is January is Board Recognition Month. And what I will share with you is we have our board members that are responsible for our direction, setting direction for the district, and also protecting our district. I will say about each of our board members, they love the community. They love their communities as well, their areas. They love the district, but most of all, they deeply care for our students. And they do everything they can in their power to make sure that we are headed in the right direction in support of our students. So we wanted to take this opportunity to lift up all of our board members and just share a big thank you to all of you, and that we appreciate all of you as well. So thank you for being our leaders. We appreciate you. Next slide. We want to, before you hit the play button, I just want to give a context. I had the opportunity along with trustee Christian to participate in the MLK, Martin Luther King celebration at El Cerrito High School. We had a number of activities that were presented. We had Caden Blake, and I'm sure many of you have heard of Caden. He was one of our former student trustees as I was coming in. He did the welcome, and they introduced him as Martin Luther King Jr., and he did an outstanding welcome. Then they had some dancers as well, some African-American women dancers that performed 2 dances. And there was also poetry that was performed. And then to cap off everything, there was a minister that's related to Marcus Walton. I think it was his brother. And he came in and he did the closing, and he did the I Have a Dream speech. So I wanted to play a portion of that speech. It was powerful. So if we could pay attention, please. I think we have to start it over for the sound.
Living with the word, dripping with the word of interposition and nullification. One day, right down in Alabama, little black boys and little black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and little white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream today that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill shall be made low, and the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord will be revealed, and all flesh will see it together. Well, that was 1963. Let me put a little bit of 2023 on it. I have a dream where healthcare costs won't drive you into bankruptcy. I have a dream where children in Richmond and El Cerrito can be afforded the same educational opportunities and outcomes as wealthy children in any part of the world. I have a dream today. I have a dream where young men and women are not incarcerated, but rather educated, and the state of California has more colleges and trade schools than jails and prisons. I have a dream today where access to the ballot box is easier than access to a vote. I have a dream today where we have God and justice rather than judicial overreach. I have a dream today. I have a dream where insulin costs are capped and institutional racism is ended. I have a dream today. I have a dream where politicians are placing people over party and lining their pockets. I have a dream today. I have a dream that we can speed up that day when we can sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Walk together, children. Don't you get weary. Walk together, children. Don't you get weary. Walk together, children. Don't you get weary. There's a great camp meeting in the promised land. Free at last.
Thank you. It was a wonderful ceremony. So we just wanted to share that with you. And if we could bring up the other portion of the presentation. So I wanted to share this with the board and the public. I know it's a little small. I had the opportunity to share this with the board president and clerk during agenda setting. But we had the opportunity, the executive team, to schedule a meeting with all of management across the district, and nearly 200 managers were available at De Anza High School. And it was an opportunity to really connect, develop relationships, but also share about the goals. What was really important about this is we started off, we did a really nice activity to connect everyone, build those relationships, but then we also talked about the purpose of that evening was to really share in detail what all of the goals were, from goal 1 through goal 7 that we've been talking with the board. We also, you can see here, we developed our whys, like why is it important for us to focus on literacy? And we're able to share that with all of the managers. So you have the why from Sonia Neely Johnson, the why from Larisha Huffman as well. And if you scroll down just a little bit, we spent time really talking about the what. So what are we actually monitoring our progress? We talked about literacy, and I spoke about how that's going to be disaggregated also by student group, and spent some time just sharing about that. We talked about the benchmarks as well. We talked about reclassification goals. And scroll down a little bit. And right here, what we did is we developed big life-size posters, and we posted them on the walls, and we made 4 sets of 7, since there's 7 goals, so that when we broke them up, we really wanted every manager to be in a small group where they could see the goals, they can understand why we're focusing on the goal, they could see what we're focusing on specifically, and then we asked them to give feedback. We wanted their feedback, so they were allowed to provide connections to goals and the work that they are doing in schools or other departments. We asked them to celebrate also and write down feedback on what they could celebrate in that area as well. And then we asked them also what needed to change in order for us to move in this direction and achieve this goal, what needed to happen. And I won't go into detail with all of the goals, the board is aware, but if you can scroll down to the next page, you can see we did the same thing here, and you can see the why from Larisha Huffman, but also the why from Mr. Booker. We talked specifically about what those goals were going to be in reducing violence and feelings of safety and connectedness also. Scroll down. and keep scrolling to the next page. A big discussion around goal 3, around facilities and grounds, and the tool that we'll be using to collect data on facilities and grounds, and also work orders. So you had Mr. Freeze share his why, and then also Mr. Booker share why we're focusing on this goal. And as you can see, in each one of these goal areas, they were allowed to provide feedback in those 3 kind of areas that I shared earlier. Next slide. We talked about technology. Even though this was not a goal that we talked about with the board, we felt it was certainly necessary to have our staff have this goal as well for ourselves, to make sure that we have certain things in place for our students, Chromebooks in place, and also that we're monitoring the Zendesk ticket system also. So making sure that we are completing those tickets in a timely manner. Next slide. And then you can see this one as well, a big conversation around recruitment, retention, and training also. And you have Dr. Greenwood and Conrad Tanasachuk that shared their why. Why is this a focus area? And next slide. Fiscal solvency and why this is a focus area as well. And next slide. We discussed communications, and we had Ms. Sanders share her why here also, and then the what we're going to be focusing on, and they provided feedback. And then finally, if we could scroll down to the last one, we talked about governance and why it's important for us to focus on governance, and also incorporating the strategic planning process in this. And what I'll share with the board finally is that every executive cabinet member at the end of the feedback session, and we did a gallery walk so everyone could see the feedback. We're still looking at the data and looking at the trends, so I'll be able to report out the trends once we have all that data, but I'll share in my area, I had to report out on what I was seeing as far as the feedback. And one of the big pieces that they were sharing in Area 7 around strategic planning is alignment and coherence across the system is what all of our managers were saying that we are seeking. So understanding that we may be focusing on deeper learning or central office transformation, or looking at our graduate profile skills, scaling for student success, the strategic planning process, the instructional focus plan work that's happening in ed services. Everyone wants to know how all these pieces fit together, so coherence across the system. And they really also were asking in this area, my area, about the tangibility of everything. So we've talked about the strategic planning process, but Dr. Hurst, what does it really look like, feel like, and sound like in the classroom, moving toward our vision, moving toward those graduate profile skills? So that's some of the feedback just from my area. And again, I'll report back at a later time and give you some trend data from the other areas. But we just thought it was important to share with you what happened on this day. A great day for the team who put this all together. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Hurst. Board, we're going to do 3 questions. 1-minute comments for this section. We're going to have extended comment at the end of the night if we have time, of course. Board, are there any questions? Okay, I don't see any hands raised. Oh, sorry. Trustee Santos, Trustee Barron, if you have questions, you're just welcome to raise your hand and I'll call you at that point, okay? Just procedurally. Okay, let's move to comments. Are there any comments from the board? Trustee Phillips?
Thank you. I know that, excuse me, I know that there's a lot going on in this district. There always is. But I hope that the equity audit that we did and the strategic planning that we are doing, I hope those things can be expedited. And I don't mean rushed, because I understand that it's important work and it has to be done correctly. But a lot of the things that I heard tonight in public comment, not so much about the raises right now, I'm not commenting on that right now, but a lot of the things that I did hear, I feel could be addressed and should be addressed in that equity/strategic planning process. And that if we were further along in that process, perhaps some of the issues that are being raised in public comment would not actually be being raised. So I know there are many fires and people are working hard to put them out, but I do think we need to act with more urgency on those things.
Thank you. Did I see a hand on this side? Yes, Trustee Santos.
Thank you. I really resonated with a lot of what was said during public comment, and I hope that even if you guys didn't, you understand that we definitely do. A lot of the issues that were brought up were issues that we have seen firsthand. Some of the things like the bilingual students, I have experienced that firsthand. I couldn't be talking to you right now if those teachers weren't there teaching me English, teaching me how to read, teaching me how to write. You couldn't have me up here if those teachers weren't there. I need those teachers. You need those teachers working for you. And you really need to listen to them because they shouldn't have to strike. They shouldn't have to do any of that. Those students, those parents, those teachers, you have to listen to them. They're here talking to you and they're telling you what their needs are. And you need to listen to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Santos. We're gonna go to Trustee Barron.
Yes. Similarly to Daniela, I'm appalled at the kind of mistreatment that teachers have faced that has led them to have to demand their fair wages and be here tonight. And I'm appalled to hear about 200 vacancies, about departments that are essential to helping special ed children and bilingual children who need these kinds of teachers to help them further develop in life and be successful. The whole point of aiding our teachers and providing them with fair wages and a good life system is that they can continue educating our children and our students that we praise, and we constantly are discussing and talking about how can we do better for them, how can we improve our conditions to ensure our students are on a path towards a good career and success. And we fully give our support to these teachers, and we hope that they know that very dearly. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Barron. Okay, thank you, Dr. Hurst, as well for your superintendent report. Okay, we're gonna move to action items. The first one is E2, acceptance from the Contra Costa County Office of Education annual report on Williams settlement legislation. Mr. Freeze, is this your item?
Yes, it is. So tonight we'd ask the board to accept the Williams visitations for the first period of 22-23. This is the county report completed during the first 4 weeks of instruction. There were no findings for instructional materials that are sufficient. School facilities, there are no facilities found that propose an emergency or urgent threat for health and safety. And there are no uniform Williams complaints filed during that period.
Thank you, Mr. Freeze. Board, are there any questions? Trustee Clerk. Sorry, it's one of those nights.
That's okay.
Clerk Smith Folds.
Thank you. Mr. Freeze, can you tell me, I looked at all the sites that were on the list, and it was about 215 pages worth of information. How were the sites chosen that were on the list?
So I believe there's 26 sites total, and those are chosen through the state. And one of my colleagues may be able to help me out, but it's actually, used to be the decile 1 through 3 schools and how they were selected. I believe there's another criteria on that, how they select those schools. And that list is adjusted. I believe it's about every 3 years, they adjust that list based upon the scores.
So they rotate around our district every 3 years or no?
I'm sorry, they don't rotate around the schools. I can get you the information, but the schools are selected at the state level based upon our test score information that's provided to the state.
Thank you so much. Dr. Hurst, how are we ensuring that our schools are equitably chosen? I know that Mr. Freeze just spoke to that the state has a kind of formula that they choose, but do we have any input at all on the sites that are chosen? Because I know, well, here, let me back up. When we do the Williams walkthrough, I know that my kid's school gets a walkthrough, but it's not on this list. Is this different than when the kids are told, bring your books to class, somebody's gonna walk through? Is this a different list than that, or is this the same walkthrough?
This is that list.
This is that list.
This is the list.
But I don't see my kid's school on this list. So how does that information translate back? Does that make sense? Mr. Freeze, does that make sense?
It does. So the state only audits the schools that are in the lower decile levels that they're assigned. The district itself, we actually do fit inspection for all of our facilities. I can't speak to the textbook portion of that though, for the school sites that are not on the list.
Okay, that makes sense to me. So the state looks at 20 something, but we as a district look at all of them. Okay, thank you, President Gonzalez-Hoy. I'm complete.
Thank you. Board, are there any other questions? Okay, are there any comments? Yes. Okay, is there a motion to adopt the report? Trustee Phillips?
Can I just make a brief comment?
Sure.
And I'm piggybacking on this because of what the item is. But I do think that we need to actually have a conversation around Stage Elementary School. And what we're going to do with that school, because there are a lot of hopes and desires and whatnot. And one thing that's not cool, right, is to lead people on. So I think that fits into the whole Williams conversation, and it came up in public comment, but I would like to see that.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, in the one-on-ones this week, staff did bring up Stage because we are having a report on Stage in February. So that's coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, board. If there are no, Trustee Reckler.
Well, I was just going to move it if you need.
Go ahead, please.
I'll go ahead and move the acceptance of the Contra Costa County Office of Education annual report for Williams settlement legislation.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Trustee Christian. Okay, everybody, we're gonna vote. We already did comments. Did I miss it? Okay, any comments or anyone?
We did comments, but I would like to make one since we
Sure,
kind
go
of circled back
ahead.
to it.
I might have missed them. Go ahead, Clerk Smith-Wills.
I always have a hard time with the Williams complaints. And I just have a hard time with the Williams complaints because I'm at sites and I just don't. And Mr. Freeze, you visit sites too, and your team visits sites, and Dr. Hurst, you visit sites, and some of the board members visit sites along with me. So it's just hard for me to read something that doesn't match up with what my eyes see. So that's why for me, it's always an abstention or most times it's an extension when it comes to Williams complaint. I just wanted to say why. So I'm complete. Thank you, President Hoy, Gonzalez-Hoy.
Thank you. Okay, Trustee Reckler.
I'm sorry, this is a point of privilege, I think. I just got a text message that there's something wrong with the translation, that there's a lot of interference, and could the translation be checked?
Thank you. Why don't we check on that real quick? I really don't know how we would. Would one of the cabinet members be able to maybe put in the translation and see what you hear? Sorry, as you were walking away, Ms. Sanders. I think I'm gonna have to talk for you to hear something. No, it doesn't, you can't hear well.
Yeah, she says that she can't hear it to you.
Okay,
And she doesn't know why she can't hear it clearly.
she can't hear at all.
Sounds like she can hear it, but she can't hear it clearly. Yes, she can. Oh, now it's better. Okay, I think we got it
Okay.
fixed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. If trustee Reckler, if you get another message, let us know. We'll stop. Okay, everybody, any other comments? All right, we're gonna move to the vote. The vote is to approve the report. Trustee Santos, we'll start with you.
Trustee Santos, yay.
Thank you, trustee Barron.
Trustee Baron, yay.
Clerk Smith Folds,
Smith Folds abstains.
trustee Christian,
Yes.
trustee Phillips,
Okay.
trustee Reckler.
Reckler, yes.
Thank you, and I'm a yes. It passes 4-1 and 2. Okay, now we're gonna move to item E3. Mr. Freeze, did your item as well?
Yes, it is. Thank you. Tonight, we're asking the board to approve change orders number 36, 37, and 38 for the Pinole Valley High School project. With board direction, anytime we exceed 10% change orders on a particular job, we bring them back as an action item. This particular change order covers the removal of soils that were stockpiled for the rebuilding of the hillside, excess grading that was not accounted for, and we had an increase in union wages to our labor union because our contract was extended beyond its original term. These increases were imposed, and the district owes the contractor for the difference in wage. This particular change order is 10.41% on the total job. The total for this is $62,099.
Thank you, Mr. Freeze. Board, are there any questions? Clerk Smith Folds?
Mr. Freeze, this comes out of their own bucket of money, correct?
This comes out of the Pinole Valley High project, yes.
Thank you. I'm complete, President Gonzalez-Hoy.
Thank you. Board, are there any other questions? Okay, is there a motion to approve the change order?
I motion to approve the change order for Pinole Valley High School fields, field house, and bleachers.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Reckler will second.
Thank you. Are there any comments? Trustee Phillips?
While I'm not saying that they don't need this, or maybe need is a strong word, maybe even want, I am going to be voting no, just on principle. This is the never-ending school. And we just voted that the kids at Lake can't have covered walkways for the rain. And I just don't see the equity in that. And so I just wanted to publicly say why I am about to do what I'm about to do.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Okay, we're gonna move to the vote. Trustee Santos?
Trustee Santos, abstain.
Thank you. Trustee Barron?
Trustee Baron, abstain.
Thank you. Clerk Smith Folds?
Smith Folds, yes.
Thank you. Trustee Christian?
Christian, yeah.
Thank you. Trustee Phillips?
Abstain.
Thank you. Trustee Reckler?
Reckler, yes.
Thank you, and I'm a yes. It passes 4 yes, 3 abstentions. Thank you. Next item is E4. Dr. Greenwood, is this your item?
Yes, it is.
Wonderful, thank you.
Good evening, Board. We are requesting approval for variable term waivers, which provides applicants with additional time to complete requirements for the credential.
Thank you so much, Dr. Greenwood. Board, are there any questions? Okay, could I please have a motion to approve?
A motion to approve E4 certificated board authorization education code 44258 .3.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Reckler will second.
Thank you. Any comments? Okay, we'll move to the vote. We'll start with Trustee Santos,
Trustee Santos, yay.
Trustee Barron.
Trustee Baron, yay.
I apologize. Is it Trustee Barron or Barron?
Baron,
Okay, thank you. Clerk Smith Folds,
Smith votes yes.
Trustee Christian,
Yes.
Trustee Phillips,
Yeah.
Trustee Reckler.
Reckler, yes.
Thank you. And I'm a yes. It passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, now we're gonna move to comments from the board. Oh, I'm sorry. I was already forgetting our consent items. Board is 9:51. Could I have an extension till we finish our consent items? And sorry, no. Oh, that's right. Okay. I think board, we can get through C4 and C15 fairly quickly. And then I did get a request to extend comments a little bit. So I think that if we just go till 10:30, we should be okay. Could I just have an extension till 10:30? Yes. Trustee Phillips.
I'm gonna move to extend to 10:31, so we're not told we don't have to do 10:30. So I move that we extend to 10:31.
Great.
Smith votes seconds.
Wonderful. Any comments? Any objections? No? Okay, wonderful. So moved. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we're gonna move to C4. Trustee Reckler, you pulled this item?
I did, thank you. So I pulled contracts and I want to talk about the contracts for full service community schools. And what I wanted to say is that I am not able, and we talked about this in our 2-on-1 meeting, but even after the discussion, I went back and I looked at the presentation and I went back and I looked at the contracts and then I searched the website and I cannot match the spends to the school or to the central office. So I do a lot of work on this. Like if there's a Title I, I go back and I look at the school's allocation, I make sure something is there. And I've got notes. I go back to the LCAP and make sure things really match the LCAP. I spend a lot of time on contracts and I don't have any way of verifying what a school got, or I can't find it. I know you have it, but I don't. And I want to double check you. And I want to know how much you're spending in overall administration, like the Glenn Price Group contract. That's an overall administrative contract that's not going to be sent to a school site. I love Glenn Price. He was a school board member. His organization is fantastic, but I still want to know where you guys are and how you plan to spend this. So I have an idea, at least for schools, if you could build it into their site allocations, the way you've got Title I, site funds, CSI grants, supplies, like all that stuff that you do. But there's got to be a way that we can just double check and figure out, like where people are on these community school grants. So that's why I pulled that item. I don't believe we're overspent in anything. I know we're not, but that's a real suggestion that I want to have taken seriously.
Thank you, Trustee Reckler. Could I have a motion to approve the contracts?
I'll move to approve C4.
Thank you. Is there a second? I'll second for timeliness. Okay, any comments, additional comments? Trustee Phillips.
So in line with the comment I made earlier about the equity audit and the strategic planning process, and with all the comments that were made earlier today about community schools, I really think we need to have a community conversation about community schools and what community schools really are. Because I bet you if you ask 20 people, you get 20 different definitions. We have community schools currently, and this is not a knock on anyone, but I don't think anybody would say that they're what they should be or what they could be. Right. And so if we're talking about whether it's through a UTR contract or this contract or any contract, this is something that should be part of the strategic planning process. It's something that should be thought out. And so it is rolled out, or it already exists, but so it is continued and approved upon in a way that actually gives the community, and I'm talking about community in a very holistic sense, what it is actually looking for, and things that are proven to work. That conversation hasn't happened. It really needs to happen.
Thank you. Trustee Phillips, any other comments? Okay. We had a motion to approve the contracts. Thank you. So we'll start the vote with Trustee Santos.
Trustee Santos abstain.
Thank you, Trustee Baron.
Baron abstain.
Clerk Smith Folds.
Smith Folds, yes.
Trustee Christian.
Christian, yes.
Thank you, Trustee Phillips.
Yes, but I hope we have the conversation so this evolves.
Trustee Reckler.
Reckler, yes, but I want to see better reporting.
Thank you. And I'm a yes as well. Passes 5-2, 5 yes, 2 abstentions. Okay, now we're gonna move to C15, which is the appointments of the board. Trustee Reckler, you pulled this one because you said you had a comment or a question.
Yeah, I
which was-
pulled it for a comment, and that is
Go ahead.
that, thank you, I'm honored to be appointed. I'm sorry, they didn't give me any wire this week. I can't. Thank you for these appointments. I do want to point out, though, that CBOC, CAC, and Dr. McIntyre's Budget University all meet on Mondays, and there are some conflicts with this. So I will do my best, but I'm going to be absent from some of these.
Thank you, Trustee Reckler, for sharing that. I think that we can also ask staff to coordinate as much as they can to make sure that you're at all of them, if possible. And if not, I think that you can also email me or email someone else on the board and see if maybe at least we can cover for you. Because I've done that for MDAC when I was in the chair of the appointee for MDAC. And sometimes I would ask people to cover. So I think it'd be totally okay if you did.
Okay, thank you. And then the other thing I'd like to request is that we immediately get access to Mr. Freeze and Ms. Hain so that we can start to update the new CBOC policy.
Absolutely, yes.
And then I'd also like to get on the CBOC's agenda as fast as possible with a red line copy.
Thank you, Trustee Reckler. Any other questions? Clerk Smith Folds.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. Trustee Reckler, if there's a meeting that you can't make, I attend those meetings. So I would be happy to take notes or to give you a summary. I think that's why it's very important that the work is shared among us. There are 5 board trustees, so we need to share those appointments and those committees. President Gonzalez-Hoy, I know you did the best you can to reach out to all of us, but we do need to make an effort to share the work so it doesn't land on just a couple of us to do that. So again, thank you for everybody who committed to being on a committee this year and being and accepting the appointments. And again, we need to just help each other out. I'm complete.
Thank you, Clerk Smith Folds. Any other comments? Trustee Reckler.
I do. I have one thing that I just forgot before, which is I do really have some comments and I do have some real comments and ideas about contracts, and I'd like to know how you'd like to receive those. Probably not.
Actually, yes. I think that the group would probably welcome it because I've spoken to Dr. Hurst about this. That group will be led by Dr. Hurst and Clerk Smith Folds. So if you just send it to Dr. Hurst, I'm sure he will appreciate it because that work will take a few months. And the more efficient and direct focus we can be, I think the better, because that work will also help us wherever we end up with UTR, right, in our unions for next year and the following in our budget. So absolutely, please send it to Dr. Hurst.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, can I please have a motion to approve C15?
Okay, I'll go ahead and move C15, which is approve appointments to board trustees to committees.
Smith Folds seconds.
Thank you so much. And sorry, before I call the vote, I did want to just comment, thank all of you for stepping in these roles. I purposely didn't put myself in many because being board president is already pretty overwhelming. So I just want to thank you all for this opportunity. And that's reasoning why I didn't. But like I mentioned earlier, to all of you that are in all these committees, happy to cover you if you ever do. And I appreciate it very much. Okay, let's move to our vote. We'll start with Trustee Santos.
Santos, yay.
Okay, Trustee Baron,
Baron, yay.
Clerk Smith Folds,
Smith Folds, yes.
Trustee Christian,
Christian, yes.
Trustee Phillips.
Yeah.
Trustee Reckler,
Reckler, yes.
and I'm a yes. Thank you so much, unanimously. Okay, now we're gonna move to comments from the board. We have enough time for 3 minutes each. So hopefully that's enough. And that includes Dr. Hurst if he has any comments. Why don't we start with our student trustees if they're ready? We'll start with Trustee Santos. If we could put up the clock on the TV, that'd be great. 3 minutes, sorry. Trustee Santos, 1 second. Perfect, go ahead.
Okay, once again, just wanted to take the opportunity to tell you to please listen to these teachers. In all honesty, everything that was said, if you had 75 people tell it to you, I don't know why you wouldn't listen. You guys yourself said, had everybody that wanted to speak spoke, it would have been 5 hours. 5 hours of people telling you what they need. Even if they didn't get to speak, that should tell you a lot. That should tell you a lot in its own. And now that we get a chance to tell you it again, we are trying to tell you ourselves. Maybe if the people down there you didn't listen to, maybe you'll listen to us if we're up here. We are telling you that they are right. We agree with what they're saying. And we side with all of the teachers that were over here, all of the parents that were here, and all of the students that were here. We agree with them and we support them, we stand by them. We've seen these teachers, some of these teachers teach us one subject and then after school end up having to be our coaches, our club advisors. These teachers do so much. When they said that teaching is a 24/7 job, they weren't lying. It is true. I very briefly plan events for my school, and that's already something that's stressful to me. I can only imagine what it would be to teach a class. And then after school, stay another 3 hours to teach a sport. And then after that, go back home and grade papers. And then on top of that, have to do it over and over for very little pay. These teachers have a voice that they are using themselves, and they are hoping that you'll listen to them. Everything that they said, again, we agree with, and we hope that you will listen to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Santos. Trustee Baron, will go to you. Just let us restart the clock. Go ahead. Thank you.
Yes, to further emphasize, I would have not been in this position to begin with had it not been for teachers and other students who encouraged me to advocate for things exactly like this. Some of the best teachers that I've ever had in my life are teachers that are directly from this district and have worked their butts off to ensure their students are given educations that they might not receive in other school districts. A lot of the talk about wages was these other school districts are offering better salaries, better starting salaries to these teachers. But with that comes the loss of amazing teachers that have inspired people like Trustee Santos and I to advocate for students and encourage others to do the same as we do today. And as the countless people who came here to do the same, to continue doing that and advocate for themselves and their community. By not listening to them, we are continuing, like someone said earlier, a cycle of these kind of systemic issues that will not improve unless we do something about it. We support these teachers fully, and we hope that they know that, because in the end, if we don't do something to fix this issue, we will lose a lot of brilliant minds that have contributed so much to these kinds of meetings, to these kinds of events, and to the planning of this district and future events that we hope will contribute and continue to make this district very great. But without listening to these teachers and without helping them be able to live good lives and have basic good enough salaries, they can't do that for us. They can't continue teaching students like Trustee Santos and I, and they can't continue doing their jobs that they are passionate about. It's not like they do this just because of the money. They're very passionate about the things they do. I don't think someone who has countless papers to grade would make the effort to be here for their students unless it was because they cared. And these teachers do care, and we care about them as well, and we fully support them. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Baron. We'll move to Clerk Smith-Folds.
President Gonzalez-Hoy, can you please come back to me?
Sure.
Thank you.
Trustee Christian, do you have any comments?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Let me just start off by saying I'm for a raise, to see things happen, and our teachers deserve it. And just looking at the overall picture, we as a district has to continue to push forward. We got many challenges, many things that we're dealing with. And I just know, being a board member, I don't get paid millions of dollars because I sacrifice to give up in order to go up, to make things better. Fighting for our students, our teachers, and the community at large. I travel between here and Oakland every day, Monday through Friday, going to the school to work over in Oakland, come back over here, so I'm dealing with a lot, and I'm want to see a lot of things happen. We just have a lot of challenges, and we got to deal with the race issue that's going on, and it's bad, and it has to be. This stuff here has to be dealt with because it's happening all over. So pretty much we just have to continue to push forward and go from here. But I am for seeing things, seeing increase. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Christian. Dr. Hurst, we'll come back to you after my colleagues. Trustee Phillips.
Thank you very much. So there are a couple things that I want to address tonight in my time. And so the first thing is the talk around salaries, particularly for the teachers. I have said in public and in private that I believe that our employees should receive the entire cost of living adjustment that's guaranteed from the state. And that number is 36.8 million. I don't believe that the entire 36.8 million should go to one bargaining group. So I don't believe that that entire amount should go to the teachers, but I do believe that it should be split amongst the bargaining groups. And if that is a proposal that is put forward, it is one that I will be voting for. I believe that 36.8 is something that we can afford. There have been numerous conversations around that number. Now, I don't think that we could afford more than that. So I personally would not be voting more than that. But I would vote for the 36.8 to be split up amongst the bargaining units in an equitable way. So that's the first thing that I wanted to say. The second thing that I want to say is, and I say this as respectfully as I can, but I think that we're conflating some issues. If we give 50% raises not that we could, but if we gave 50% raises to all of our employees, our students would not magically improve. And I think what's happening is there's a lot of conflation going on I get it. I get why. But there's this parallel that's being put out, and it's if we get the raises we deserve, the students will get the education that they deserve. And those two things are completely different. So while we have this conversation about raises, and I just said, and you could hold me to it, that 36.8, I believe, belongs to the employees. But there needs to be a conversation also about what's happening with our students and the level of service that they're getting. And that is not going to say it's not related at all to wages, but they're not joined at the hip. And I think that we need to have an honest and holistic conversation. Didn't get to say everything that I wanted to say, so I'll see you next time, but thank you for this meeting.
Thank you, Trustee Phillips. Trustee Reckler?
Thank you. So I just want to start out with a update on translation for later. And she's saying that it seems like it's the system or the audio that's being used by Otelia. She can hear and she can understand, but for future, you just might want to look at whatever she's doing. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, I want to address all the parents and students and community members who have contacted me from Washington, Korematsu, and El Cerrito High School about the DLI program. Of course, we can't talk about it tonight due to the Brown Act. We can't get into it. We can only talk about items that are agendized. But I want you to know that I see you and I hear you and I share in your anger and frustration. And I'm asking the agenda setting team to please accept a formal request to agendize a discussion on the state of the DLI program and what the path forward might be. Next, as far as future agenda items, I got an amazing email from students at El Cerrito High School addressing the educational response to the climate emergency. It is very deep and complex. I'm sure we're doing some of this now. It has to do with teaching and practice, working groups. I don't know if this school district has ever really passed anything meaningful about the climate emergency. Maybe, but this is deep. You're going to say yes, we have probably. We'll probably have, okay. But I'm going to send this in. This is a complex topic, but I do think that if we haven't addressed it recently, this should be resurfaced. This is not just a pass it and one and done. This takes deep work. So I'll send it in and we'll see where we go with it. I also received a very thoughtful commentary from one of our parents on our technology policies. And I'd also like perhaps this to be agendized or discussed. We have a lot of policies that actually do seem a little outdated. The policies are more like students are going to do this, or this is how students are going to use the equipment, but we've entered into a different phase with technology. And I will also send this in. There is really probably some updating that we need to do about tech, how much we're using it, why we're using it, what we expect out of it. Responsibilities to parents. Do we have a responsibility just in learning, potentially addiction? I mean, there's a lot that was brought up and it was very thoughtful. And I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. And I'm hoping for good news soon. And with that, good night.
Thank you, Trustee Reckler. Clerk Smith-Foltz, are you ready? Okay.
Thank you so much, President Gonzalez-Hoy. I'm going to talk to you guys as colleagues. I think that as we sit up here as the board, we need to be clear about a couple of things. And if you don't understand, I would like to tell you why we are so important. It is because some of you think that the sun is supposed to shine on itself. It's not. It's supposed to shine to warm others. Some of you think that the tree is to eat its own fruit. It's not. It's there to feed others. Some of you think a river is to drink its own water. It doesn't. It's to quench the thirst of others. The reason some of you don't understand is because you think serving is supposed to serve you. It's not. We are here to serve everyone else. We're here to serve others. As the board, it's not complicated. If those of you who continue to say you want the best for everyone else, all you have to do is make a motion, and it takes 3 of us to pass a policy. So I would like for us to stop saying we care and start showing we care by our vote. And you know who you are when I say that. So I think that it is past time that we as a board, and we're under great leadership. Thank you so much, President Gonzalez-Hoy. You really do read the community. You extend time. You had the young lady come back up because you're a teacher. You understand that it takes processing, and there's a process in translation. And so you had her come back up. I want to take a minute and thank you for that. But it is School Board Trustee Month. And if we hold these positions, then we hold the accountability and the responsibility to do exactly what we were elected to do, and that's to serve. We are not to warm ourselves, feed ourselves, quench ourselves. We are to serve the community at large. And I would like us to start doing that as a collective board. And if not, we only need 3. So let's move by a majority of the board. I want to say welcome to our new student trustees. I want to say I appreciate your voice. And I appreciate hearing your voice, and you are speaking loudly, and you are speaking clearly, and you are speaking transparently, and continue to do so. Hold your ground and make sure that you speak and you leave it all on the floor. Make sure that you have no regrets when you leave this position, because you were here to do a job, and we appreciate that, and we appreciate your voice. I want to say to my colleagues, this is not me coming at you. This is me encouraging you for us all to do our very best, because we were all elected to this position. Thank you, and I'm now complete.
Thank you, Clerk Smith-Folds. Dr. Hurst, do you have any comments?
Just a few, sir. I too want to share my thanks and appreciation for our new student trustees. Student Trustee Barron and Santos, it was a pleasure to have you here and to hear your voice. And then I would just want to take a moment to call out all of my staff by name: Larisha, Lewis, Robert, Sylvia, Conrad, Sonia, Liz, Tracy, and Michael. I didn't forget your name, Tracy. I just want to say that I truly appreciate all of you. You come to work every day, giving it your all and giving it your best. So I just wanted you to hear that from me, that you are appreciated for the team that you are and the work that you do on a daily basis. Thank you so much for all of your work. There was a lot shared this evening from our community. I think our responsibility is also to listen to the voices and then to plan accordingly. So for those who are still listening, those who spoke about the DLI program, thank you so much for coming and sharing your voice. I think that's what it's really all about as well, that we hear your voice and that we listen and respond appropriately. I too am looking forward to the conversation at a future agendized meeting to have an honest conversation about what's going on and our next steps. For all those who spoke on behalf of teacher salaries, raises, community schools, thank you so much for your voices, teachers, community members, students, parents, whoever you were. Thank you so much. We hear you loud and clear, and I want to share this with you. Staff are working extremely hard to make sure that we are presenting a competitive proposal salary for our teachers, for our certificated members as well. We value every one of you, and I want you to hear that from me. I also want to share that I do agree with Trustee Christian. We have a lot of work to do across our community, across our schools regarding the racism. And let's be very clear, that's exactly what's happening across our district. It's not just at Richmond High School, it's across our schools. So we have a lot of work to do there. I just want to speak out about the strategic planning process. That's certainly something that's going to be discussed at the upcoming board retreat. We do have a timeline that's part of goal number 7. So thank you so much, Trustee Phillips, for sharing that. That will be shared, and there is an expedited timeline. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hurst. For my comments, I just want to start by one of the things that I heard tonight, which really touched my heart, which was the newcomer situation at Kennedy. I believe that we have to extend our programs to Kennedy. It's not the first time I've heard about newcomer students struggling at Kennedy. And the story that I heard tonight is a story I'm sure that Trustee Santos and Baron kind of are related to, is a story that I went through. And if I hadn't had the right programs and honestly the right teachers in place, I wouldn't be here today. You all have heard my story many times, so I don't want to bore you with that. But I don't want students to come to us and say that they've fallen through the cracks because they feel like they can't have access to language. So we have to have a conversation about our newcomer programs. And it's the same thing for elementary. We hear stories every day, right, of newcomer students showing up to a classroom where teachers don't speak the language, right? We need to figure out how to transfer into grant, if that's where our newcomer program is going to be, but also how to extend it, right? Because we're maxed out, right, to our class sizes there. So we have to do something to that because it's what we're seeing in our data as also, but what we heard tonight. I also wanted to appreciate our educators for coming out tonight. I hear you, I see you. I agree with my colleagues that we are trying to do the best we can in this moment to avoid a strike. As I mentioned, educators saved my life, and I know the work that you're doing every single day. I know that many of you commute, many of you have second jobs, and I just want to share a quick post that I saw on Facebook. I was on Everybody Richmond Facebook page, and I saw a teacher who was on maternity leave who posted that she was looking for house cleaning jobs because she could not make ends meet. And my wife is on maternity leave, so it obviously touched me in that way, but that we have teachers asking for cleaning jobs because they cannot get through their bills while they're on maternity leave, or when we're hearing stories of teachers having to take second jobs and Uber, which is one of the stories I heard tonight, or work on the weekends as bartenders, right? These are people with masters, sometimes doctorates. It does make me feel shameful that I sit in this chair. And I know that part of the problem is also what the state and federal government gives us, but we do have to do our best to meet their needs. So I hear them, and I know our staff is working hard. So hopefully we'll avoid a strike, but I know that you all will if you need to. And then lastly, I just want to thank the Richmond High School staff, even though the race issue is systemic and it's been here for a long time. I know they're experiencing it right now, and it's a lot. So I see you and I thank you. Okay, that's it, everybody, for comments. Our next meeting is actually on Tuesday. We have our board retreat, which is from 9 to 3 on Tuesday the 31st. And then we have a board meeting on February 1st. I feel like I'm spending more time with you all than my own wife. So we'll see you all next week. And thanks again for everybody who came. Good night. We are adjourned.